And he's been turned out beautifully by Anthony Cummings. He's been coming through A grade, as Richie mentioned.
$7, and it's back into $6.50
to start today. Ninth Legion coming out of the Golden Rose, and we've got these other horses who've come through. So 2 is Lunar Olympia, jumped out quite well from one of the inside stalls. Lunar Rise from out wide has gone forward and will take up the running at the end of about 150 metres, and led from King of Olympia has still got the inside, and Strength is moving up on the outside to take them on for the front. So Strength out 3 wide, now presses on to lead from King of Olympia, who just got its head up there under restraint and is throwing its head around in the second spot, and then Lunar Rise back to third. Ninth Legion 2.5 away to the High Street side up near the 800. Strength in front coming back to the second horse, only led by about 3 lengths now on King of Olympia. Lunar Rise dragging up behind it in third, 2.5 to Ninth Legion, and then came Honorius and Rowie, and It's a Done Deal still back last of the 7. 600 out in the first of the day, and Strength led for home by about 1.5 lengths. King of Olympia, Lunar Rise is stalking them. Ninth Legion directly behind it. It's starting to be nigged along. Then Honorius, Rowie's under the stick, and It's a Done Deal still a long way back as they turn for home. Strength is done with, and King of Olympia raced up and hit the lead with Lunar Rise coming after it. They're about 4 lengths on It's a Done Deal, who's moved down the outside and is running on strongly. It's King of Olympia just in front from Lunar Rise. It's a Done Deal is still running on, and then Honorius on the inside. King of Olympia, Lunar Rise, and It's a Done Deal has come right over the top of them, and It's a Done Deal beat Honorius. Lunar Rise got third in front of King of Olympia, and then about 7 lengths away, Ninth Legion, who got very tight up the straight from Rowie, and Strength finished last of all.
Well, he's always had big raps on him. It's a done deal. This horse is now 4 from 4 for Murray Baker from New Zealand. James McDonald, the winning rider. It's a done deal. The son of High Chaparral takes out the Gloaming Stakes for 2012. He is a very promising stayer on the rise. He looked fantastic before this race, and he has raced right up to his looks. Number 3 beats number 2. And
his run was very good, but you would have to say that Ninth Legion, gee, that was disappointing.
Yeah,
this has set up a really nice clash for the Spring Champion Stakes. Brassier, we'll have a look at him a bit later in the show. But It's a Done Deal. He's like Brassier, is unbeaten.
He certainly is. He's 4 from 4. Nice horse. More of a stayer. I think Brassier's got more brilliance about him, but hard to knock a horse 4 from 4. I'm a little worried he lacks size and he lacks a bit of maturity. Whether he can go right to the VRC Derby, I have my doubts. I'm more on Honorius's bandwagon there.
Way back. As a race runners just coming into the yard here for the Heritage Stakes. The favourite here is Relaxed and Happy, with form, of course, beating Albrecht last start. Albrecht, the runner-up in the Golden Rose,
has come forward with Red Excitement now moving up. They're off and racing. And Relaxed and Happy came out brilliantly in the centre and strode to the early lead. Raceway is driven up along the fence, and so is Ichihara to go past it. And Raceway holds a narrow lead from Ichihara. Relaxed and Happy dropping in behind them. Agadar. Raceway led as they run to the 600 by a long neck on Ichihara. Outside of it, Agadar third. Relaxed and Happy the favourite on the outside of it, and then about 2 to Destruction is inside Red Excitement. Villa Splendido on the outside, and Don't Blink back last of all. It's Ichihara serving up to Raceway, and as they round the home turn, the filly went to the lead now. Ichihara from Raceway. Agadar going up on the fence. Relaxed and Happy still about 4 away and under the whip. And then Villa Splendido. Destruction's doing nothing, but Ichihara bounded away with about 150 to go. Villa Splendido is next, and then Agadar. But Ichihara's coming away, and Ichihara beat Villa Splendido and Agadar. Then Don't Blink and Raceway, followed by Destruction, and then
Release 1, 2, 3. Number 3, Ichihara by General Nadine. Alan Denham, training at Wyong now, has taken out the Heritage Stakes. Villa Splendido, another filly, number 7, in second placing, and Agueda has out the second of our stakes races this afternoon, the Schweppes Heritage Stakes. Brent Abdullah was
out to take its spot. Calamba and Dear Demi away with Jade Marauder. Racing. Calamba last out of the stalls. Beginning well was Flying Schnitzel on the outside, with Longport, who began quickly. Bequera handy on the inside as they sort the order out, and May Dung hopped out nicely and will just ease off the speed and settle down fourth. Followed 2 to Norzita. And then Dear Dem on the inside. Dear Demi's been shuffled back to second last, the favourite. And Dolphus behind it at the rear. Longport led with 600 to go. Cassidy gave it a little bit more rain that slipped away and led by 2. Flying Stitzel next, followed by Vaquera. Then May Dung Norzita coming around the outside, followed by Jade Marauder. Dear Demi starting to track up behind that line of horses, and then came Calamba and Dolphus at the back of the field. Longport led from Flying Stitzel. Norzita's running on Jade Marauder. Dear Demi's in a bit of an awkward spot in behind horses at the moment. Norzita swept up to Longport and took the lead. Then Jade Marauder, no Dear Demi today. It's Norzita on the outside and Longport. Norzita's got its head in front. It's boring in on Longport. Longport kick back. Oh, that's a head bobber. I'm staying out Longport and Norzita, but Norzita did come in on Longport up the running, and then came Jade Marauder, Dear Demi, followed by Vaquera, and then Maydung, followed by Flying Stitzel.
As they get to the line, who has the bob in? Oh, Norzita got hers right down on the line.
Track 6 from 5. Not the one.
578, the final 600, sold through the NZB sales from Windsor Park.
I'm staying out Longport and Norzita.
Wasn't much between them. Protest second against first was upheld. Jim Cassidy Longport getting the money there at 80 to 1 over the Cummings filly Norzita. So there was quite a few different opinions being bandied about at Randwick about that one.
A hard race to read in hindsight about where those fillies actually sit in the world. But I have to give credit to Jim Cassidy. He had the temerity or the courage or however you want to put it to take that thing to the lead, and he does it so often. He reads the pace so well. Okay, he was beaten on the line, and I don't think Jimmy was overly confident he'd get this protest because there wasn't much. If you look at the head on here, you see that Longport in the yellow cap and green sleeves, it runs out. Norzita's there with the yellow sleeves and the checked cap, and it starts to run in a little bit, and they have a little brush there, but nothing. There's absolutely nothing in that brush. And then she runs in again, and Corey's had to straighten her, and that's when Longport gets back on terms again. Now, Jimmy went into the room, and I was watching them in the room, and I thought, oh, Jimmy doesn't think he can win this. Well, he got a sniff that the stewards might be sympathetic to his cause, and then he turned into a Philadelphia lawyer, and he was interviewing and questioning Corey Brown, and it was good to watch. And in the end, he's got the prize. It was quite a dramatic race. Look, Ronnie, you can assess these
fillies.
Well, you
maybe bar one, but I'm still trying to assess the protest, let alone the fillies.
I didn't think it'd get up, to be honest.
What did you think?
Look, I've got no big issue with it saying they've just got it wrong, but I thought it'd be dismissed. I don't think there was enough in that. It was maybe
550, Wild and Proud 80 to 650. Let's go to the RT number 1, Herculean.
$10. So the market move at a bit of odds right down the bottom. Number 10, Dare to Dream. According to Jerry Walsh, some real big players have played here. $20 into $9, Dare to Dream.
Yeah, $20.
Speeding has been pretty solid around the 5 at Dare to Dream. Heavily back, $20 into $7.50, but still carrying a little bit of condition. Now, Dare to Dream's away, so is Sedcom, and also I Think I Do and Torio's Quest. Sainthood and Dare to Dream both came out a little bit slowly. Wild and Proud was the best out, with Steps in Time rolling up along the inside to be a close second, followed by Herculean Prince. Sainthood picking up ground, and also Speediness rushing through into a forward spot. So as they run into the first bend, and Sedcom is back along the inside, followed by I Think I Do. Dare to Dream's a long way back, and outside it is Torio's Quest. They run down the side, and Steps in Time a loud run, led by a couple of lengths on Wild and Proud. Speediness 2.5 away third, Niggle out after these two leaders, and then Herculean Prince, followed by Sainthood, I Think I Do. Sedcom back along the rail. Dare to Dream has been sensationally backed on track, still a long way back, and back with it is Torio's Quest. Steps in Time led as they turn for home. Jockey steers a couple away from the inside, led by 3 on Wild and Proud. The rider feeling for the whip on it. Then the Speediness, Torio's Quest is now starting to warm up down the outside, and coming with it, I Think I Do. It Steps in Time in front. He's tried to pinch it, led by 2 on Wild and Proud. Down the outside, we've got Torio's Quest, Sedcom coming up along the inside, but it's Cassidy again on Steps in Time. Can he lift it? Steps in Time is getting time, and it hangs on and goes on to beat either Sedcom or Wild and Proud. Then Speediness and Dare to Dream, followed by I Think I Do. Torio's Quest died on its run.
Mare Steps in Time. Well, that is a good performance. John O'Shea, Jim Cassidy combining there, $7.10. She's paid on.
I reckon they were closer to the 100 than they were the 50.
But the one still first, this counts.
Exactly right.
And also steps in time. There was a big go in that race. They backed one from 20 into 650. Dare to Dream, its name was, from the Bart Cummings stable. That's a big go in anyone's book. 20 into 650.
Yeah, look, obviously he's a talented stayer having his first run in Australia, but well, I don't think people that backed him didn't look at him in the yard because he was far from ready, and they've burnt their money there. Obviously, he's a horse we should keep an eye on.
The winner.
The winner's great ride, Jimmy. He just knows when he rides the horse how they're travelling.
Yeah.
And she travelled, and he says, okay, I know I'm at the 650. I'm not going to get 3 lengths on this lot.
I'm telling you, Jay Cassidy, there are locations in Sydney where he would be arrested for pulling people's pants down because he does it so often.
And he opens himself up for a bagging as well. Like if you take off before the turn, and then they get run down.
No, he takes the punt.
Yeah.
And I think I saw it the other day. He was up at Hawkesbury. He rode one and it caved in and it didn't work. But you've just got to accept that with Jimmy. He will take the punt from time to time, and more often than not, he gets it right. And he's one of those naturally gifted.
Welcome back here to Royal Randwick. Our Group 1 about to get underway, only around 12 minutes from start time. The George Main Stakes for 2012, the Group 1 over the famous Randwick Mile. And All Too Hard, well, he's been backed in. Secret Admirer was the early favourite for this race, but All Too Hard has had some good support. He's currently $4.80 into $4.40. Shootout $4.80, $5 Rangy Rang Do.
To $4.60. Ringy Ring Do. Now, there's been good money for the Ringmeister. $6 into $5. Dan Lee's been a drifter. $6.50 to $8, just like he was. 80 to $4.20, just back to $4.40. But it is the market mover, according to Jerry Wild. Thank you, mate. Sportingbet.com.au market mover. You've got to get the top odds when you're having a bet. Into $4.20 now. They've continued to come
Around the $5 mark, and Shootout also around $4.80, $4.60. Now they've been
Racing, he's come out last All Too Hard. He missed it by a length. And the best out was Rangy Rang Do, led from Quintessential. Some Panetti Pin going up on the inside. Shootout stepped out of the stalls okay and settles in a handy spot just on the back of the leaders. Dan Lee was next, followed by Sign Up within a neck of the lead. Then Quintessential running third. Shootout back on the fences fourth. A length and a half to Dan Lee. It's covered up by Secret Admirer. Jose second last, All Too Hard on the outside, moving up to share last with it. And they're about 6 off the leaders. They back the speed off in the middle stages. Some Panetti Pin led by about a half a length. Rangy Rang Do. Shootout on the inside of Quintessential. Followed a couple of lengths to Secret Admirer. Dan Lee back on the rail. Cassidy already niggling at him. All Too Hard still back near the rear. And Jose on the inside. They're approaching the home turn in the George Main. 500 to run. And some Panetti Pin led. Rangy Rang Do about to move up on the outside. Bowman brings Shootout with the run now. Peeling to the outside. Quintessential next. And then came Dan Lee, followed by Secret Admirer, and All Too Hard comes down the outside. 5 away, but a lot of work to do. Shootout moved up to Rangy Rang Do. It's Shootout and Rangy Rang Do settling down to fight it out. The stablemates come away. Shootout on the outside gets to a narrow lead. Rangy Rang Do not to be denied, but Shootout beat Rangy Rang Do. Secret Admirer, then All Too Hard, followed by Quintessential and Dan Lee. Panetti Pin and Jose at the back of the field.
Oh, Cornella for Chris Wallace. Shootout. Another Group 1 for him. Hugh Bowman, the winning jockey, takes out the George Main for 2012, beating the stablemate in Rangy Rang Do. A tough performance there on the inside of his stablemate. And number 5.
And you got a beautiful run, Hugh, and geez, he's pretty special.
Oh, there's just no bottom to him.
Terrific training performance by Chris Waller to have him first up at 1,600 metres. He's a great galloper. He loves Randwick Shootout. Rangy Rang Do and Secret Admirer was back in third spot after the Group 1 George Main Stakes. Hugh Bowman was the winning rider. He had a good day. He also won the short.
Randwick a couple of weeks ago. I haven't had a horse trial like that for some time, and stable assured me that he was prepared for the mile and ready for it, and I took trust in that, and he's running a dominant victory.
He must have been always happy in the run, finding the fence early, cuddling him up. He just travelled beautifully. Just not one thing went wrong.
Well, no, early on I would have preferred to have sort of been one off the fence following Rangy Rang Do, but as it panned out, I was a bit awkwardly placed, and to keep him in his rhythm, I had to fold across to the rail. So I got out without too much trouble, which was important.
Times can be a little bit misleading, but they ran 1:36.5, something like that, and ran home in about 35 and change. On times, it wasn't overly competitive. It must have gone fairly steady early in that race.
We didn't go hard, and I think that's evident. You know, Nash was sort of staggered across Quintessential, and I was trying to stay out, and that's what I mean. I was trying to hold my position off the fence, but because of that steady pace, I ended up having to relinquish and go to the rail, which didn't work out all right. But, you know, in a perfect world, as we go.
Ronnie, what are we going to do about All Too Hard?
Well, he's just done his thing yesterday again. He missed the start and he ran on past tired horses. I think punters have had enough of him. I'm surprised he was so heavily backed. He found a lot of heavy support
He was
again
challenging
yesterday.
for favouritism.
Yeah, he certainly was. So I think we've just about had enough of him. Ringing
What,
Rang
a spring 3-year-old. You're racing against older horses and you've just sacked him on it.
Well, in that grade, for the expectations in the big Group 1s, I think.
What about back against 3-year-olds?
Well, I think the jury's still out. You know, unless he's 10 or 15 to 1, I don't think he can. You know, we can take really any notice of him. I mean, he hasn't done much this preparation. Let's face it. He's got some form in Melbourne where he won a size where the jury's out on the opposition he beat. But I think if he was going to shape up, he was going to shape up and do something in that race yesterday, and he clearly didn't do anything in that race. I thought Rangi Rangdu was sensational. He was only second up. I was a touch disappointed in Secret Admirer. I like to see her hit the line a little bit better.
Times said she. I
Yeah,
mean,
if you're going to believe them times at
If you
Randwick
go
at
slow-
the moment,
well, if you go slowly
crazy.
in a race, it's going to make it very hard for back
But
markets.
she's
to
got a
catch up.
devastating sprint. I've seen her come from last in races in the mile at Randwick, and when they've gone slow, and she's gone straight past them. She's not showing
Unless the
that sprint.
horses perhaps.
Maybe Graham is trying to.
At equal kicks at 6.50.
Welcome back here to Royal Randwick. Runners in the RT for race 7 on the 8-race program. It is the Bacardi Hill Stakes over 2,000 metres. The favourite is Lamassery. At this stage, he's getting good support on course. Lamassery for 340 into 330.
With classes coming up. Midas Touch has a red cap on here. Morane's got a blue cap. Midas Touch. Sit back. They're off and racing. And he was one of the last out. Polish Knight was stout-hearted. They're out the back. Lamassery came out well near the inside. Lights of Heaven going up to take the early lead, and so too Midas Touch up in a handy spot, followed by Class and Ginga Dude. Then Morane is steadily making his way across, but he's a little bit wide early on. Lamassery's over on the fence. And then the Verminator and Permit, Polish Knight, second Terminator, stout-hearted. And the back last of all is Polish Knight, and it'd be about 7 lengths first to last. Inside the 800, Ginga Dude led. There still hasn't been much speed on lead from Moraine, getting a little bit closer on the outside from Lights of Heaven and Midas Touch. Lamassery next on the rail, followed by Class. The Verminator being stoked up from Permit, stout-hearted, and Polish Knight back at the rear of the field. They're about to swing for home. Ginga Dude from Moraine. Lights of Heaven will go up inside that pair, and then came Midas Touch hooking to the outside. Lamassery's getting away from the inside. He's coming to the centre of the track with Class. It's Moraine moving up with Lights of Heaven and Ginga Dude, but now Lamassery putting the foot down and starting to sprint down the outside. Then Class Permit near the inside. Stout-hearted warming up. Lamassery moved up to get the Lights of Heaven. Moraine kicking back in the centre. Lamassery got its head in front. Moraine's coming back, but Lamassery edged out Moraine. Third home was Lights of Heaven. And then Stout-hearted and Class from Permit and Midas Touch, followed by Ginga Dude, Polish Knight and the Vermin.
Lamassery for Peter Roybal, and David Van Dyke takes out the Hill Stakes, beating home Moraine, who fought on the ends, leading as leading winners, sire, for the last 5 years or so. Lamassery, $350, $1.60.
David Van Dyke's done a terrific job to get him back. Lamassery coming back from injury. That was his third run back from a spell, so Peter's probably right. He'll go to the Metrop. He'll be very close to his peak.
He will be, and he's just such a genuine horse. He doesn't know how to run a bad race. And how good is his sire going? Commands. He's just getting winners here, there, and everywhere. He's back as yet. But the winner was beautifully ridden and got the job done, and I'd suggest there's still a little bit to work.
Moraine stays in Sydney to run in the Craven Plate. There's the market for the Metrop. So Lamassery, the favourite, Glencaddam Gold expected to go there. Strawberry Boy.
Welcome back to Royal Randwick, final race of the day, the shorts, and it's been a pretty open race right since betting opened earlier on in the week, but good to see Manu Anui at the top of the market here, and he is currently around $4.60. He's come in from $5.50, the Golden Rose winner of last year, and looking forward to seeing him.
$50. Sporting bet market move in the last, number 6, Shoot Moment for Tim Martin. Pampalone, heavily back, 1-800-007-238. In order, Caroline, 6 Pampalone.
Move up. Of course, racing tomorrow is here again at Randwick on the Kensington track. Satin Shoes about to be led up. Nobby Snip. Starter goes up the ladder. And they're off and racing. And Pampalone jumped out very fast out wide. Satin Shoes was one of the best into stride. Nobby Snip going up in the centre to split that pair. Manawinui and Malavio next from Renewed Vitality. One last dance on the inside from Happy Zero and Appearance, and then came Alma's Fury. In the next group, Emotional Circus with Ever the Same, followed further back in behind them by Mr. Armstrong. Famous Seamus getting shuffled back near the rear. On the outside, Spirit of Boom, and near the back of the field also is Rose of Peace. The leader is Nobby Snip as they approach the turn, led by a length on Pampalone and Satin Shoes. Renewed Vitality next. Then Malavio on the outside. One last dance going up near the rail, followed by Appearance, and then came Happy Zero. Further back was Alma's Fury and Mr. Armstrong, and Emotional Circus a long way back. It's Nobby Snip in front, but Pampalone's on the scene quickly, and Satin Shoes on the inside, but Pampalone sprinted better than Satin Shoes. Then Renewed Vitality, followed by Malavio. Happy Zero and Appearance down to the inside. Pampalone led. Satin Shoes is coming back on the inside, but Pampalone's a neck in front, and Pampalone and Satin Shoes drive to the line. Pampalone went on to beat Satin Shoes. Appearance third, then Spirit of Boom, followed by Malavio, then Ever the Same, Alma's Fury, followed by Happy Zero, Renewed Vitality, Emotional Circus. Then Nobby Snip, Famous Seamus.
On, how often do we see this? The World Back runner from the Tim Martin stable salutes $8 into $5.50 for the Son of Rock of Gibraltar. 5 from 8. This to Marvine, who's won 3 stakes races, and also to Stone Black, who's won 8.
Pampalone over Satin Shoes Appearance. Manawinui bled, so he's out for 3 months. They must be shattered about that. They put a lot of work into getting him to the track. He had a bit of a virus held up his spring preparation, so we won't see him until the autumn of next year at least. Pampalone, Hugh, another one first up there, and that was a highly impressive return.
Yeah, it was, Matt, and he's a quality horse. He's gone. He's been lightly raced and well looked after by Tim Martin. But I tell you, as a young jockey, and even as a more experienced one, you dream of being towed up the Randwick Rise by a horse like this. Like he just pulled me up, and when I let him go, it was all over in a stride. Admittedly, he got tired late, and Tim said to me after the race he felt that when he saw him in the yard, he was a bit concerned he might be a bit underdone, but he got the job done, and I'm sure he'll improve with that performance.
Is he up to a race like the Salinger over the spring?
I think he is. Time will tell, but history says this is a pretty good race.
Arguing there from the line of Longport that has definitely changed out from the owner, Longport running up to this background to make a little explosion and the result of the race. I think
Couldn't get any more in because they're about to go here. Commanding Jules 3:30. Lady of Heron's 15 into 10. Pick from the yard. Show my miss. Here's Greg.
Good field of fillies here and there. Lady of Harrods jumped okay. Bloomingdale miss away quickly, looking for the early lead. Commanding Jewel got away very swiftly, and she's heading up to go to the front in the early stages. So it is Commanding Jewel, the favourite, who runs to the lead from Bloomingdale miss. Lady of Harrods is third behind them, and then Malak, they're real stealthy. So Commanding Jewel at the 600, 3/4, Bloomingdale miss. Lady of Harrods third, Malisis fourth on the outside. One member's Joy the Grey, and they're being followed then by Young Girl, Spitfire Lady, Maltabena, Hard at It, so too Lon Rouge, Dazzler as they swing the corner and Show My Miss. So Commanding Jewel leads coming around the turn from Bloomingdale miss. Lady of Harrods on the fence, and then Young Girl. Members Joy started to run on, but Commanding Jewel with a good kick inside the 200. Got away 2 lengths, Lady of Harrods. Members Joy, Young Girl, Bloomingdale miss. Maltabena for the minors. Commanding Jewel, Lady of Harrods out. Driving at her, Lady of Harrods. Lady of Harrods, last stride, Commanding Jewel. Maltabena, the real eye catcher. She didn't give in at any stage and kept coming. Followed by Dazzler, Show My Miss, Young Girl, Mulling at the home turn, and last to finish is Donna Cativa. And Lady of Harrods, a determined finish to win.
She fell out at the end of 1200, goes to 1400, takes the sit off the back of Commanding Jewel and nails the favourite here. Outstanding run, Maltabena, 3 wide, never travelling, didn't take the corner and finishes off. It's on.
We got away with some sectionals. I'll leave no excuses, just gunned down by a filly who had a terrific run.
So Commanding Jewel.
Really nice filly. I didn't see.
By Dubowie, Stephen Arnold and Russell Cameron combining. $13 in the 1,000 guineas at the moment, Ron.
Probably a right price. She's got all the breaks, winning twice now, but she makes her own luck. That's what racing's all about. I thought Commanding Jill was beautifully ridden. She slowed up, she got a rest, and to be 1,000 guineas filly, you'd want to see her a little bit stronger than that. So a little bit of a dampener on, like she was a ruling favourite. So I don't think that was the run of a favourite for 1,000 guineas. And I think Glenn Boss summed it up with Dazzler. She didn't have any luck at all, and she might be a nice filly in the making in the Darley colours, just into dead ends there in the straight. But look, the winner got the job done. I don't know whether she's going to stretch it right out to the mile. The third horse was good, Malta Bende.
Malta Bende was good. It ran really good sectionals late, so we'll keep an eye on it as an outside chance. But two great jockeys there, and I can guarantee
the 1,000 guineas. And we've heard from really happy the Snowden team. Once she got clear, it was a lot better run than what we saw at Flemington first up. So that was the general.
On horses in the mounting out for our Group 1 feature. The mounting out for our Group 1 feature this afternoon, which is the Highland Race colours. Underwood Stakes, of course. This day last year, Sincero was winning the George Main Stakes in Sydney. He's been down here for some time now. I'll find out what we think of these in the mounting yard with Shane Samuel, dip after dip after dip. Managar, which is the favourite Managar, and they're dipping again, Shane. They've had dip after dip after dip. Managar, and they've gone again.
Sammy for the best from the art.
Take Shane away. While EC's moved up into the gates, now Managar comes along with Drunken Sailor. The Lucky Day is right with Senegas, the millionaire. Moved along to the stalls. Craig Newitt. Underwood Stakes and Managar got a clean getaway. Illo a little bit slow to move. And Mwingo was the first one out, and he pounces on the lead, which was up for grabs, and he found it comfortably from Wila Isi, and moving up Sincero the outside with December Draw on the move deeper. And as they settle down in behind them in fifth placing, then is Ocean Park, and Managar's got over one away from the rail into a lovely spot in the early stages. Behind him, Senegas, Drunken Sailor, and they're being followed then as they go to the top of the hill by Southern Speed, My Lucky Day, Elo's a Billionaire, Niwat, Winchester at the back of the field. So Dwala Isi's run to the lead now, and he's a length in front. December Draw second, and Mwingo gets the trail third, and Sincero lobbed 1-1 fourth. 2 lengths away with 1,000 metres to go is Ocean Park on the inside of Managar. These favoured runners getting good positions in the race. 2 behind them, Drunken Sailor, Senegas. Midfield, Southern Speed, My Lucky Day. Being followed then by Elo in the red cap, and then came Billionaire, Niwat, and 2 lengths away, Winchester. 700 to go. Wally see the leader. Half a length on December Draw. Mwingo, Sincero, fourth poised. Then Ocean Park held up the fence. Managar waits about 6 off the leader. Southern Speed's got onto his back, and then Senegas and Elo as they neared the bend. While Easy winding up the tempo, a length and a half now. December Draw, Sincero called on. Managar coming to the outside, and then Mwingo. Ocean Park in traffic, still hasn't got clear in the red blankets, and while Easy in the meantime scoots 2 to 3 lengths in front of December Draw. Managar's out wide, he's battling to get to them at the moment. Ocean Park's got the inside run. Walla Easy at the 200. Ocean Park, December Draw, and then Managar, Sincero. Walla Easy with Ocean Park claiming him. December Draw running on. Ocean Park's grabbed the lead though, and the Kiwi Ocean Park beat Walla Easy half a length with December Draw third. Then came Southern Speed. Managar pretty plain. Sincero followed. Winchester was a nice run, and then came Billionaire. Further back in the field, Mwingo, My Lucky Day, Sanagas, Niwat. Elo towards.
Here's again, big race jockey Glenn Boss, who looked to be a bit pear-shaped around the 500 metre mark, but he lifts here on Ocean Park. The race panned out in the Underwood.
No, well, he's a rising star, this horse. He was brilliant when he first up in New Zealand. He'd done well on paper. He was very impressive, the winner. They've run 151.40, and that's about 4 and a bit seconds outside the course record.
And he exploded with me at Rose Hill, and shouldn't have run second. I give him, it was there to be lie down and die, and they were a pretty good bunch of 3-year-old odds. And I was very confident of him winning the Derby. He's a very good horse, and all things happen for a reason. He went out of the paddock early. As you see, he's a very athletic horse. He won't take much work. He's just going to poke around. Gary's just going to be able to poke around with him here, and what you see is what you get. He's got an electric turn of foot, and that's what he showed me that day at Rose Hill. And I know immediately when I
back Group 1s, he won the Challenge Stakes in New Zealand a few weeks ago, and now the Underwood. Ridden, of course, by Glenn Boss. He's been in terrific form over the last. Ocean Park. Is he a serious Cox Plate contender?
Oh, there's no doubt he's got the attributes to say that he's going to be in your top four at the moment. If you have the market, I suppose you'd say that he's in the top four. He's got an athletic body about him. He's got gate speed. He can switch off very quickly in the run, and he's got turn of foot. And those are the things that you require to win a Cox Plate.
He got injured the morning of the Derby. Is there any physical difference with him as a 4-year-old now?
Not really, Ronnie. He's not a massive horse. He's a real athletic. He's actually got long. He's got plenty of length about him.
The Underwood Stakes run, December draw was very good.
Much improved run second up. He was better getting around horses there yesterday. Look, the other thing I want to say about the race, I think there were so many good runs in it. I'm not going to go through them all. I just want to give you 3 horses that went bad, and you can just give the others a big tick. Mwinga was terrible, absolutely terrible.
I thought he improved a little bit, actually.
You're kidding, aren't you?
Well, I might know him a bit better than you.
Well, I don't know. I've seen every one of his runs. He's a different horse last prep. He had the run of the race there and went backwards.
You know where he's at in his prep.
Okay, well, you stick
I
solid
thought he went
there.
a little bit better.
Leave me right out of him. I thought Drunken Sailor should have done more, and Illo's clearly not a stayer. He's a sprinter. So the rest of them went good. Even Lucky Day, I thought, went good there.
I think Elo's had enough convictions to say
He's stakes up next, but of course the story from the
Sporting Bet market mover is number 16, Mr. O'Kerran. 7 into 550, back out to 6, and then hit again back into 550. So
no, we can't tell you that.
Can't tell.
We saw the form roll in last week with full winners. No, I can't tell you that.
Can't tell you.
Top of my head.
Sure you had it, would have had it.
I did.
I can tell you what, one thing, he's in front. And if Mr. O'Kerran can land the prize, he wins. But he's on 7.
They're set. And they're away and racing. Seagallion just a little slow. Zarella jumped away evenly. Shawan went back and so did exceptionally. And the first out folding gear with Mr. O'Kerran heading it. An unusual suspect is right up there, but Mr. O'Kerran came across quite comfortably. Shinzu Steeds moved up into second, placing a length and a half away. And Streets Away gets into third, and they're followed by Realia fourth. An unusual suspect settle down fifth on the rail at a good gallop, and then single-minded. 700 metres to go, and Mr. O'Kerran, the leader, single-minded's on a move out wide. Streets Away in the centre, and these are the 3. They put the pressure on a fair way out. Shinzu Steeds travelled up behind them fourth. Nowhere to go at the moment, followed then by Realia. Here's Folding Gear starting to work home well from unusual suspects. Seville and Zarella the widest, about 7 off the leader. Mr. O'Kerran got away, and his challengers coming around the home turn. He's 2 in front of Shinzu Steeds, who's going to cut the corner. Then Streets Away, a fair break to Folding Gear and Zarella. Mr. O'Kerran in front. Shinzu Steeds trying to come at him on the inside. Here's Folding Gear. He's starting to work home, but Mr. O'Kerran, 150 to go. Still the leader. 2 lengths to Folding Gear. He's getting there with every stride. Mr. O'Kerran tackled by Folding Gear. Exceptionally flies, but Folding Gear got the money by a half a length to Mr. O'Kerran. Exceptionally was an exceptionally good run. Third on the outside. Shinzu Steeds ran fourth. Seville worked home, and Silence Around Best worked late. Followed Streets Away, Realia.
Into the Caulfield Cup goes Folding Gear, if that's the plan. Well, why wouldn't it be off the back of that strong staying performance?
Shane's done a great job with this horse, and also Reece Wheeler's done plenty of work on him, but they know the horse as well, and
he doesn't take a lot of work.
He hadn't had a great deal of luck lately. $26 in the Caulfield Cup market at the moment. Obviously, that's going to be a great deal harder.
Well, I can't complain about a horse like Folding Gear winning the naturalism because, he's a nice little horse and Shannon and Lee Hope will place him just right. And that won't necessarily be in the Caulfield Cup, I think you heard there. But I'm all for these races being qualifying races because at least if he gets in a Caulfield Cup Folding Gear, he's a recent winner. And he might hold out one of those horses that hasn't won in 12 months. But I thought, and it didn't sort of play out that way. The race got a good sized field, but it didn't play out exactly as I thought. But I've got to support more of these qualifying races, and well done to Folding Gear. He's just a nice horse, well trained and well placed.
Talented horse. He had no luck at his first 2 runs back, and he's on the improve. Maybe the Coonji is his race.
Yeah.
Day or wet track either. There's the Tates also for race number 4 at Moonee Valley. Favourite on track, Snitzerland. They took $1.40 into $1.35. You've seen her, Wayne. You race it more as you would imagine down at the gate now, and they'll be moving into the barrier shortly. Snitzerland, $1.35 is the ruling favourite for the race, and on the tote at the moment has always been at $1.40. There's the tote odds up on screen. Maybe Greg can tell us more.
Snitzerland jumps evenly on the inside. Elite Alloway brilliantly from the outside stall, and Ollie Silver forward. Hossamore got away well, but it's Elite Hell going on. Snitzerland retaining the inside. This will be interesting running to the first turn here. Snitzerland uses the rails, goes through and heads Elite Hell and is a length in front. In third placing, Hossamore follows right through behind the front runner, and then Omniscient fourth. There followed Satin Rock fifth, the inside of Dassitude. Then came on the outside of those horses is Dinkum Diamond. She's trapped wide. Being followed Valid Contract on the rail, and then Clinking. And about a length and a half away, Arm for Action is last. So Snitzerland the leader. Up the side of the course, a half length in front of Elite Hell, Hossamore and Omniscient. Back behind those, Dassitude. Kingham Diamond, despite racing wide, continues to try and make ground, and Satin Rock can't get a run at them. Snitzerland the leader. Brown's urging her for the run. She's about 3/4 of lead L staying on. Hossamore right behind them. She's boxing on well, and then Satin Rock. Snitzerland in front. She's a length and a half clear from Hossamore Elite L. Satin Rock starting to work home, but Snitzerland's too speedy for them, led all the way. Virtually. Snitzerland by 2 lengths, Hossamore. Photo for third. Maybe Satin Rock from Elite Hell. They're bobbing heads there. Dassitude about 4 lengths further back from
gate and superior speed to go through from the pole and hold the lead. Burnt the candle both ends, comes away, wins like all short price $1.40 chances should. And Corey Brown just sits on that would be a stretch. Yeah, second in the Golden Slipper behind Piero, and the Golden Slipper winner lines up in race number 7 to 9 at 9:45. Well,
yeah, the Slipper horses from last season come back. They both won there, first and second from the Golden Slipper, Piero and also Snitzerland. Obviously, Sama already hasn't taken all before her this campaign. But Snitzerland, she's won 3 out of 3 this campaign. More to come.
Yeah, there is. And don't you like it when a plan comes, like Gerald Ryan says, I've got a plan to just take on the sprinting races. She's 3 from 3 this prep now, and she's getting the job done. She did it both ends, and it's far too strong. Hossamore was very good first up. I thought Elite L had too much to do, and she probably wants it a little bit wet. Satin Rocks ran on very well for the new stable there, but she's a very, very sharp filly and got the job done well.
I think it's a plus for the sprinters here, and Buffering is the short price favourite for the running of this year's Moya, and it is a cracking lineup. Let's have a look at the Toad odds. Buffering, gee, the Queenslander is very, very short on the TAB. This is the spotless Moya Stakes for 2012, and on the TAB at the moment.
Yeah, look, 4 or 5 fresh. The miss was by Cabrio and Haley says it all.
It makes it a bit easier when you don't have those two in the contest. There's the Totes up on screen. They're about to move in for the spotless Moya Stakes. Here's Greg Miles.
And let's see now, Buffering jumped away just reasonably. He's going to have to scorch through. Platelet began well, and so did Tiger Tease. Buffering using the insiders, getting up to join them now. Atomic Force is 4th, thank God you're here. A length and a half ready to rip, and there followed Elite Falls and 3 lengths to Green Birdie. So Buffering had to do some work early, but he's got up on the rails and he leads. Tiger Tease is second, a half length away. A length and a half Atomic Force, back of the leader third, with Platelet fourth, the outside with cover. Then came Thank God You're Here, ready to rip, a length and a half to Elite Falls, and one away last is Green Birdie. So Buffering the leader. He's having a little bit of a mid-race breather. 3/4 Tiger Tease, Thank God You're Here on the move wide. Atomic Force on the rails, and then Platelet, Elite Falls coming on deep, ready to rip's got Shuffle back and Green Birdie. They've been tightly bunched for a little while here, so Buffering's had them stacked up, and he's now going to go for home into the straight, and Buffering a length and a half on Tiger Tease, and Thank God You're Here, and Atomic Force getting clear. He's hanging tough. He's getting a little tired. Thank God You're Here. He's ready to rip, bursting through. Buffering's hanging on near the line, though, and Buffering's got in a neck to ready to rip. Third, probably Thank God You're Here out wide from Tiger Tease, Atomic Force. Green Birdie got home. Platelet the next over, and a distant last was Elite Falls.
Queenslander. Buffering goes home the winner. He's a little beauty, isn't he? What a bulldog. Buffering fights them off. He wasn't flash out of the gate. Huey wins his race on Buffering at his 4th ride, ready to rip. Just had nowhere to go. Gets out late, but the post.
Yeah, that's it. Look, missing the start and having to do that extra work just made it that little bit harder, but we knew when the cards were on the table, this guy would really fight, and he just does that every time he goes around.
Well, Tiger T certainly put it to you early. Well, you won a big group race tonight. Can you make it a big group double?
Oh, he's just a reliable sprinter. He's a beauty. Makes his own luck, keeps out of trouble. Ready to rip was outstanding. Thank God You're Here's on song for Peter Morgan out of it. Tiger Tease didn't handle the home turn well, and Elite Falls, discussion on his future, but And he ran similar split start and finish here, didn't he, Buffering?
He's the perfect sprinter, isn't he? He gets out on the speed and he's so tough. You know exactly what you're going to get week to week, race to race with Buffering, and a terrific job for Rob Heath getting this horse has done, considering, you know, he's always been rated as the third best sprinter in the country behind Black Caviar and Red List. You know, this could be his prep. Ready was plainly unlucky. He had to wait on a run and really surge late. But I don't think it was as clear as if he got the run, he would have beaten Buffering, because we know that Buffering fights and really picks up when he is challenged. And that's one of his best qualities, Tiger Tease for mine. He was flatly disappointing. That was a terrific first up win, and you expected so much more of that horse off that effort. He was really.
He just fights on and fights on.
Yeah, one of the best tries in Australia, Buffering. He's all heart. Got the job done well there first up. He's in for another great campaign, and you know he's in everything. He runs in all the big sprints. He's alive. There's no doubt about that. Ready to rip. He's up and running and at a fitness edge, but he's still flying for the Moody stable. Arguably the run.
No, it's an interesting question in regards to a Cox Plate. What do you want to see? If you've taken $5, which has been available for Piero in the Cox Plate, what do you want to see tonight? Do you want to see him, A, that's the first thing you want to see, and B, this is not our A-list 3-year-olds. You want him just to trounce them, don't you? If he's going to measure up to Green Moon, Manigar, these type of seasoned, tough 2,000-metre horses.
I doubt if there'll be any trouncing. I get to tell Gator I passed that job off. That off. Runners are in the mounting guard for the running of the Bill Stud Stakes. Of course, this year again, sponsored by City Jeep, the Stud Stakes over 1,600 road. And he's bred certainly on mum's side of the family to get out to the 2,000 metres, no problem whatsoever. So what can you say, Gator?
There's not a lot I can tell you. You don't already know. I think the main thing is that.
Now, this is an interesting question. This is to you, Gator. It's $1.06, the favourite. How do we, the punters, make any money out of this race?
No, I'll just watch and enjoy. I don't see any need to.
You're not going to go Jamando's
clean sweep of everything that was on offer that year. The great Red Anchor. Many moons are off, and Piero jumped away pretty well. He's one of the first out, in fact. Road Trippin's missed it. He's gone back to the end. And Piero finds the lead ahead of Underestimation, and Carrying Bush Jack deep out is going to go on and press the early issue. Jamando will end up right behind the leader, fourth the fence, and then Adjuster Hey Big Bender. Road Trippin is back last. He runs to the 800 turn. He's 2 lengths clear. Piero's second, 2 lengths away, Jamando. Underestimation on his outside, about 1 3/4 lengths. Adjuster Hey Big Bender, Road Trippin at the end. So Carrying Bush Jack has the lead for Noonan. Coming down the side is 1.5 lengths clear. Piero's second, Underestimation on the move, 3 wide, and Nash has popped away to get clear galloping room on Piero. Adjuster 1.5 lengths away, trying to work into it, and Jamando's on the fence. And then Road Trippin, Hey Big Bender. Towards the turn they race. Carrying Bush Jack narrowly. Piero his outside, and Underestimation 3 wide, 2 clear from Jamando, who's under the whip. But coming around the turn now, and it's now Piero going up, and he takes the lead. He's drawn a length in front. Corners like he's been here before. Picks 2 to 3 lengths in front of Carrying Bush Jack, and then came Jamando. But the super colt from Sydney, Piero strides away to make it 8 out of 8. Brilliant. By 4.5 lengths, Carrying Bush Jack. 3 lengths, Jamando. Road Trippin fourth. Then Underestimation. Didn't he put a gap in them? They're coming in at long intervals now. Adjuster and a long last, Hey Big Bender.
Yeah, that was just too easy and expected. That's what you'd expect of Piero if he's going to be any sort of a chance in a Cox Plate, the Sporting Bet WS Cox Plate. He needed to do that with ease, and he ran away from the others. Were gone. They were all under pressure when they tried to quicken down by the 600 metres down to the gate. Caulfield Guineas, the next big assignment for him, and then he'll be back here for the WS Cox Plate, and has done the job brilliantly. Pins the ears right back and really gets into his work, and then Nash kind to him. Nash has a bit of a look at the big screen.
How good is he? He's 8 from 8. He'll go towards the Caulfield Guineas. What price will he be in the Caulfield Guineas? Well, we'll find out the opposition on Sunday. He had plenty there.
Yeah, well, he's going on a bit of things, so yeah, he needed this tonight, and I wanted to be as soft as possible, but still make him get a job done. And I hope everyone enjoyed it. He's a really special horse. Thank you.
There is Nash Rawiller and a big crowd there. Got to see.
Yeah, just what you want to see. Get around the valley, second up the mile, did all that. Not sure take any notice of what it beat there. Slow first 1,000, quickens up. Just job done, exciting. Going to get there on Cox Plate Day off the back of the Caulfield Guineas and the peak of form. What else do you say about it?
It's have to watch and enjoy. I think Bruce. I think that's what we take out of the race. He's a serious horse. It's terrific that we saw him in Melbourne on Friday night. And he's. I'll tell you what. The little photo's nearly on the wall.
Hello.
He's nearly up on the wall now. That was a really good win. I think the most pleasing thing was the way he handled the track and just cruised around, opened him up a little bit at the top of the straight, just to put that gap on them. Because let's face it, they are the B and C graders. But it was exactly what you wanted to see.
Great attitude about the horse, great presence about the horse. And
Picks 2 to 3 lengths in front of Carrying Bush Jack, and then came Jamando. But the super colt from Sydney, Piero, strides away to make it 8 out of 8. Brilliant. By 4.5 lengths, Carrying Bush Jack. 3 lengths, Jamando.
Yeah, well, he's
Didn't beat much there, but it was a nice bit of education for him at Moonee Valley, because that is the track where he might have a date with destiny in a few weeks' time.
You say it all. That was just an educational exercise for him. Loved the last 50 metres. You know, he's a bit like More Joyce. He didn't beat anything, but he's just ticking along beautifully. And he just looks like the longer the distances are in front of him, the better he's going to be. There's no doubt about that. He runs through the line every time I see him, and I think Gay's handled him beautifully, to tell you the truth.
I think you can, stating the bleeding obvious, there's no 3-year-old colt will beat him. I think he's got the Caulfield Guineas at his mercy. He's a live Cox Plate chance because 3-year-old colts can win it, 3-year-old fillies don't. And at Moonee Valley, whatever the margin is there, you can add another 50% to it, because it's hard to get away from them at Moonee Valley because you don't have much time to get away. If he'd have been running at Caulfield or Flemington, that margin would have been 6, and he would have cleaned those horses up even more comprehensively. Okay, they're not much good, but he beat them. He showed that they weren't much good. Only good horses can do what he did.
It will change today. Horses like Epaulet today, but Piero's the favourite at $1.60 over the stablemate, who runs next week at 2,000 metres. Does that rule out the Caulfield Guineas? We'll ask that.
Welcome back here to Rosehill Gardens. A big crowd round the edge of the mounting yard here to see the great mare More Joyous. 8 Group 1, she has won, and she is now $1.05 favourite for the Golden Pendant for 2012. And she's very, very clearly ahead of the rest in the betting. Colorado Claire is the only one. The last 5 in a row, she's bigger and better this preparation, and she's heading for the Cox Plate. And as usual, as we've mentioned all the way through, her returning and her gallops and trials, that she's looking as if she's really improved through this.
$1.05 is all we can go to on our board, but she's a little bit shorter than that. She's $1.02 out to $1.03, but unfortunately
each preparation, and as you can see there on screen, she certainly looks in great order and certainly hasn't gone backwards.
And Colorado Claire hopped in front on the outside and led from Del Zero. More Joyous hopped out well and immediately will find a beautiful trailing position in third behind those 2 leaders. And then Sky Rush and For Rainy Day went back to be last of the 5. So Del Zero, as we expected, shows out, but Colorado Claire going up on the outside now to in fact take it on for the lead. And as they go to the 1,000, Colorado Claire allowed slide today. She pulled pretty hard last start, so they're trying to remedy that by letting her run today, and she raced away and led by a couple of lengths on Del Zero. More Joyce is third, 1 off the rail on the outside of Sky Rush, and For Rainy Day last. So they're heading down the side of the track with 700 to go. It's Colorado Claire in front by 2. Del Zero second, a similar gap away, More Joyce being shaded on the inside by Sky Rush, and For Rainy Day is still back last of the 5 as they approach the home turn. All the riders are steering away from the inside. They're having no truck with the fence, and as they round the home turn, it's Colorado Claire in front from Sky Rush, and More Joyous is now ambling up on the outside. Then For Rainy Day and Del Zero, but he's got a stranglehold on More Joyous as he comes alongside Colorado Claire and takes over at the 200. Then Sky Rush and For Rainy Day. Now he slips her into first gear. She starts to race away, More Joyous, and she is going to absolutely kill them again. 11 wins here at Rosehill, an effortless win over Sky Rush. Third home was For Rainy Day, and then Colorado Claire and Del Zero finishes a long last.
Well, the Supermare, More Joyous, she's done it again. In relief, I think, for John Singleton, Bridie Sparks and the team. We'll show you those pictures shortly. Some fantastic vision of Singo and Bridie, who runs Strawberry Hill and was involved with this mare right.
So when you've been around a long time, you expect this niggling doubt that something will go wrong.
And I understand.
Done, but
as I said, so many things. There's 7 mares in the 200 years of 120 group races, and she's one of them.
Must be a pleasure to own her.
Oh, it won't happen to me again.
Thing missing today, and that was the Australia Davy Myers is down looking after Piero, but she was at her bringer best and really felt terrific throughout the race. And
you get to ride in the Cox Plate, but have you got any decision which way or who you think would be sort of the one to beat if they met over 2,000 metres?
Yeah, look, it's obviously a very difficult question. It's not an easy one to answer. I'm very happy where I'm situated. This mare's been so good to me over 4 or 5 years, and next year it's going to be a tough one. But at this point in time, I'd be more than happy to stick with the great man. She's been pretty good to me.
Why not? Well done.
A rainy day, and in Colorado.
Let's just do stats. 11 at Rosehill, as Mark said, 21 overall. First 100 crawled home in 50.48. 9 lengths slower than average overall time, 125.38. Richie Sanchez gets you around in that sort of time. Good result for the third horse, got black type. Well, good to see her go around there, Rich. Good stuff. What do you expect? What can you say?
Exactly right. The field was only small, only the 5 runners, of course. And Colorado Claire probably went a little bit keen early and over race, but she was disappointing. Delzira wasn't up to them. She's in order, and she's doing what I think Gay wants her to do.
Yeah, look, it's not telling us much, the opposition that she's beating, and she was only 4 kilos over the limit there, so you would have expected her to win, and she did the job without...
I think it was yesterday on the radio down here that horse will go to Spring Champion straight into the Cox Plate, so 3 live hopes for Gay. Maybe a 3-year-old jockey, a 3-year-old jockey.
Price favourites in Sydney for decades at $1.03, the official starting price, 21 career wins, and that was just like a $200,000 barrier trial.
Yes, it was. And, yes, the competition wasn't there, but she's scared all the competition out now. She's got the black caviar effect on the competition now. They're only sending things around they know they want to pick up second and third prize money with. They'd rather win races with something else. Look, there's nothing around can beat her anyway. So, really, I'm in awe of it. She's a special, special mare.
In good shape. She'll go to the Toorak. She'll have to carry 59. She's on target. She's strong enough for the Cox Plate now, and she's going to provide good opposition to a stablemate. She's in terrific shape.
It's going to be we can bring to you as well for tab.com.au. We know that race meeting by race meeting going into the spring, this will change, but Hero at 380, more joyous at 7. I know do we want to be on, guys? Do we want to be on the 3-year-old or do we want to be on the more experienced, more joyous?
Probably the 3-year-old for me, I'd say.
What do you think, Duff?
Look, I want to see the Toorak and I want to see the Caulfield Guineas first, but there's not much between.
But if you had to make a pick now?
Oh, look, now at the head, Piero.
Right now.
Yeah.
I'll stick with the mare because I think the mare has done it, proved it.
Welcome back here to Rosehill Gardens, the feature race. The Stan Fox, the first of the Group 2s on the program for the 3-year-olds, is the next race coming up here at Rosehill, and we have a short price favourite again in Albrecht, a magnificent horse, so magnificent looking.
It's drifted on course from 160 to 180, but it's been a big push here. The Cabayan Open favourite when betting started on Wednesday, he was around the $2 mark. He's getting now out to 280. Albrecht was 220 on that occasion, now into 180.
Let's head to Mark Sheen for the call of the Stan Fox Stakes.
Go, they're off. And Divine Moon went straight back after the start with trophies. Cabain came out very fast and took up the running in the early stages and led from Magic Shaft, has now gone through and taken the lead. So Magic Shaft led from Cabain and Mama's Choice, and then 5.5 Star. Albrecht settling next, and then came Divine Moon, and trophies went back to last of all. Magic Shaft rolled away and led by about 1.5 lengths as they settled down fully into stride. Cabain looks to be out fairly wide in the early part from down the side. Moved away and led by 2 lengths on in second spot, 5.5 Star. Then Mama's Choice. Cabain now easing back to try and get in, followed by Albrecht, Divine Moon, and Trophies is going up on the rail. 600 out, it's Magic Shaft in front, trying to lead all the way. 5.5 Star chasing it from Mama's Choice. Albrecht has come around the outside and gone level now with Cabain, is looking for a run in the centre, and Trophies has saved every inch of ground along the rail as they turn for home. moment. Trophies came through to get on level terms now with Magic Shaft. Cobain loomed on the outside, and Albrecht's coming right down the outside. It's Cobain in front, leads by a half a length. Albrecht on the outside trying to get to it. Cobain holding Albrecht for the moment, and then Divine Moon, and further back behind him next is Mama's Choice, but Cobain's holding on, and Cobain went on to win it from Albrecht and Divine Moon. Then Mama's Choice, followed by 5.5 Star, and then came Magic Shaft, and Trophies dropped out and finished last of all.
Cobain, the son of Harada son for Gay Waterhouse. A big day out for Team Waterhouse, and Nashra Willer takes out the Sand Fox Stakes, the Group 2 for the 3-year-olds. Albrecht, the rider, and he's produced a pretty smart one here. As a Group 2 winner.
Heavily back to come off the Golden Rose defeat to beat Albrecht, of course. Slowly.
It just throws the whole blanket mark for the first time since its inception, the Golden Rose 10 years ago, over the Golden Rose form, I think, going forward, and the Stan Fox there. Without Piero and Price and that, who are probably our best 2-3-year-old colts in Sydney, this is probably just that level below.
Well, why isn't the Golden Rose swapped with the Stan Fox? Why don't they run the Golden Rose yesterday instead of the Stan Fox? This was really embarrassing at the start of the week, where we only had 5 nominations. Last year we had Manu Inui, and I think
$1.85. I think it was 8 or 10 lengths or 12 lengths last week between you two, the top two.
Both of them. He was a bit ordinary in the Golden Rose, but he certainly showed us his best yesterday.
He did. He's a very promising middle distance galloper, Cobain. I thought he was a bit flat in the Golden Rose as well. He was very well supported in that. But yesterday, up to the 1,500, I think he's even going to be better when he gets to the 2,000 and even a Derby distance. He's strong. He's by Harada's son, but he's out of a Don Eduardo mare, so he's got a bit of stoutness in his pedigree there. Albrecht, maybe he's had enough this preparation. Maybe I'm a little worried about the race in general, the Stan Fox. It's shuffled around with the distance the last 2 years, up to 1,500. There was 4 runners in it last year. It's a race that lacked depth this year. Maybe this should be the day for the Golden Rose leading into the Guineas.
See, Nat, I think you
features today. This is the Shannon Stakes for horses heading on, hopefully, for the Epsom Handicap, the big Group 1 next week at Royal Randwick. And Fat Al is the favourite for both. He's $1.35 on course, $1.50.
Jumped okay from the inside, but hasn't got as much speed as some of the others early on. Offenders strode through to take up the running and led from Upbeat. And then striding forward on the outside, Rolling Pin. Fat Al is back 4th on the rail. And then about as they get to the halfway mark here, Offenders led by 3/4. Rolling Pin, Upbeat is 3rd. Fat Al 4th on the rail. Darcy Be Good still 5th on the outside. And then Pain in the Glass, Aliana Till. And Levi's Choice at the back of the field, 6 off the lead. It's Offenders in front as they run for home with about 450 to go. Jockey stayed on the fence. Rolling Pin outside of it, then an Upbeat. Fat Al's going back to the inside looking for runners. Offenders elected to go to the outside, and then came Darcy Be Good. It's Rolling Pin on the outside, moving up to take the lead here. Fat Al would want to get moving. The 3's on shot. He's still giving them a couple of length start, and I doubt if he'll get there. It's Rolling Pin on the outside of Offenders, followed by Fat Al. Rolling Pin wants to lay in. It's Rolling Pin just in front, and he won it. Rolling Pin beat Offenders, but they bumped a couple of times. Fat Al was 3rd, so the long odds and favourite bites the dust. And then Levi's Choice, followed by Pain in the Glass, Darcy Be Good.
Have a look at the head on there. 2, 3, 1 are the numbers as they stand. Rolling Pin first to pass the post for Corey Brown, beating Offenders. He did lay in on him. You can see Corey trying to pull him off with that left hand, pulling the rein out. But we'll have a look at the head on, as I mentioned, the short price favourite, Fat Al, back on the inside. He's made up some ground late, but he has finished in 3rd placing. So obviously he gave him the bump, and the rider of Offenders on the inside, Kieran McAvoy, had to just stop.
Plenty here to talk about. Rolling Pin, the camera winner from Newcastle, got the result. The head margin was the difference on favourite, plainly disappointing. The inside, although Sexton will tell you it ran well when ridden off the speed. We'll discuss the protest and show some comparisons. I might open that discussion with this email from Craig in Poffs, Rich.
Look, I think the protest yesterday was right, but I think the protest 7 days ago was wrong. And I think that's why, like the email from Craig there from Cos, and a lot of people were asking yesterday.
Missed Rolling Pin. He'd led all the way to win the Cameron Handicap at Newcastle at his previous start. Did it again yesterday. Fat Al struggling into 3rd.
He did struggle into 3rd. Maybe that hard first up run where he singled out with ambidextrous took its toll on him 2nd up there. rolling pin. Well, that's good. He's put two together now, Newcastle and here, and Offenders comes out of that race also. I didn't think that race was much good, and I still don't. I think the only horse that can win the Epsom out of this race is the third horse, Fat Al. But looking at this race, you'd say no. But he just wasn't himself yesterday. He didn't come out of the barriers.
Next week, we'll talk to Gay a little bit more line up in the Epsom. Fat Al's the favourite over Shootout. Rangy Rangdu lines up in the race. Secret Admirer goes to this race, really virtually ruling it out of running in a Caulfield Cup. And
here to the final feature race on the program here, race number 6. Oh, sorry, it's the second last feature race, Colin Stephen Quality. This one over the 2,400 metres, of course, the lead up for the Epsom handicap. And Strawberry Boy, $2.15 into $2.10. He is the favourite.
Market mover, but two best back runners are Strawberry Boy, number 6, and number 5, Kalini.
All right, let's head to Mark.
Cedo and Planet Purple both missed it slightly. Dragon Zone is second. Strawberry Boy has settled well today, third on the rail. Then Kalini on the outside. He's still a little bit deep around the Fumicino, and then came reaching the next bend, 900 out. Dragon Zone is second, but already being niggled along. Strawberry Boy is third. Fumicino next. Kalini on the outside. Then Presido, followed by Julianus and Planet Purple, 4 away last of all. It's racing hard in front. Dragon Zone getting everything thrown at it. Strawberry Boy gets off the fence, now goes to second, so it's chasing the leader. Then Kalini, Presido, Fumicino. Julianus still back second last. He hasn't moved to muscle in it yet. And back last of all, Planet Purple. As they come to the home turn, racing hard led. Strawberry Boy in second spot. Now taken to the centre to go out after Kalini, running on down the outside. And then Presido and Julianus is coming with a late run. As they draw to the 250, it's racing hard. Strawberry Boy, Kalini on the outside, and Julianus sweeping right down the outside. Kalini took the lead. Some Strawberry Boy is gone, and Julianus is down the outside, but it's Kalini. Kalini hanging on, and Kalini will go down to beat Julianus and Strawberry Boy. Didn't get the trip, and then Presido racing hard, followed by Planet Purple.
Kalini, well, he's bred for this distance, 2,400 metres. He's been too strong here for Glenn Schofield. And Chris Waller, another of these impulses, the sire of this fella out of a Darshan mare. So great staying blood. Darshan, the damn sire for High Chaparral.
Kalini for Chris Waller, very tough effort. Posted out there wide all the way. Still too good for them.
Well, I can't find an excuse for anything else in the race, given that horse sat 3 deep for the entire journey. I was actually cursing Glenn Schofield during the run. I thought, what are you doing out there? You're not going forward or back. You're just sitting out there 3 deep. Well, he seemed to know what he was doing, because Kalini, that was an outstanding effort to be able to do that. So I can't find an excuse for anything behind him. And I know lots of people want
from him. He did all the work and beat them pointlessly. He'd missed a run in the Newcastle Cup through a little foot problem coming into that race. You'd suggest he has more upside than most of them as well. Julianus, he stalked him.
Morning, Matt Southern Speed sensationally make this week with the news that Bossy would ride. He is riding it, I think. He's not getting off it now. In the Caulfield Cup, G-Boss. December draw, we'll see next week. Green Moon, just keep your powder dry there. We'll talk to Adrian to you with these internationals arriving. There's Tact Abortion, as mentioned by Shark, up high in the Melbourne Cup markets. Will it run the Caulfield Cup? Adrian might give us that answer. And then we're going to also identify which internationals, how many we'll have, and what chance they are on winning this brigade.
Interesting to see Love for Ransom. And, well, we'll get to the bookies boards shortly, but the punters haven't really rallied yet. It'll be interesting to see what sort of price there will be. There's a little move against her, but she was so impressive at Moonee Valley. Let's have a look at the tote market, and we'll get into the mounting out. Have a good look at these 3-year-old fillies over the 1,400 metres today as we build up towards the 1,000 guineas for them.
Quite right, man. It was just a sensational run. Now, I was talking to a couple before 270. Glad to see something for her.
Stella Montitas. And Love for Ransom jumped away evenly with them, but goes back in the early part with Stella Lonte. Big Chillers first out. Time for Julie on. All about the coin. Love for Ransom still second last. She gave the leader about 8 to 10 lengths, and Stella Lonte behind her. So they put the 600 behind. Big Chill. It hasn't been run all that quickly. She's a length on Love for, or Time for Julia. 2 lengths away, Lazuma. Flying Hostess as they neared the corner. Being followed Ava's Delight. All about the coin coming to the outside. Stella Lonte and Love for Ransom are the two widest runners, and they'll really need to get the big burst going. Time for Julia race to Big Chill, 200 to go, and then came La Zuma. Further back is Ava's Delight. It's a time for Julia, and Balaclava Lady getting up on the inside, and Big Chill between them. Balaclava Lady's driven through on the fence, and Balaclava Lady stole it. From a second, a time for Julia. Big Chill third, Ava's Delight ran fourth. Where are the favourites? Further back is La Zuma. Papillon on the fence, and a break then to Stella Lonte, Love for Ransom. The pair of them didn't come on at all, being followed then by
race right because they won't catch you for the day. She's played 38.70 and 7.80, 150.
Yeah, well, she also threw backgammon, I think, standing over in, started to believe it, I think, over in New Zealand as well. But anyway, Epaulet, Sporting Bet Market Mover, 225 into 210. Sorry, not that was Bull Bars. I was thinking about that. 225 into $2.10 is Epaulet. Let's go to Greg Miles to call the action. The Group 3 Bet Caulfield Guineas Prelude.
The 1400 metres, and Epaulet jumped away well. Timely Truce was the one that was a little bit slow to move. Going forward, Epaulet to try and find the lead. There's a bit of pressure about. Dominant holding the rail. Let Go Lenny drives on. Ashakan comes over. So Let Go Lenny now runs to the lead. Ashakan is second, and third is Epaulet on the outside of Dominant as they settle down fully. They try and slow it up now after working these leaders. Epaulet fourth the outside. Two to Timely Truce, Sham Express. 2 lengths away then Awesome Bro, and If I Could at the 600 metres, and Let Go Lenny. He has had the breather. He's just over a length to Ashakan second. Dominant. Epaulet's on the outside. He's on the move now. 2 lengths to Sham Express, Timely Truce, and at the end, If I Could and Awesome Bro. Let Go Lenny leads around the home turn from Ashakan, and now Epaulet given full ball by McAvoy. Running on down the outside was back behind those Sham Express. Let Go Lenny at the 200. Epaulet starting to work into his work now. He's coming home the better, Epaulet. He's moved to Let Go Lenny. Put his head in front. Nothing else running on sufficiently. Epaulet just in front of Let Go Lenny, and Epaulet got home by a head to Let Go Lenny. The terrific run, Awesome Bro getting up for third. Ashakan boxed on fourth, and next in Dominant Sham Express.
Hasn't got there by a big margin, man. I think once they came around the home turn, if you were on this Sporting Bet Market Mover 225 into 2, you knew you were going to get the prize. Let Go Lenny, terrific interview by Sammy before the start of that with Craig Newitt. The start of the race and the end of the race will run at really good speed, and he's
way okay. Machines.
5 winners of the Sir Rupert Clarke have come through the Bobby Lewis. Can We're Gonna Rock continue that tradition and make it 6 from 6? Or could it be Smoke and Joey, who was unlucky in behind? So much to look forward to. The Group 1 of the weekend. It is the Sir Rupert Clarke. Let's have a look at the market, and then we'll get in the mounting yard and have a look at the quality sprinter milers that are tackling the 1400 metres here in the Sir Rupert Clarke. Souls and Itzen, well, has come up for so much support. $11 in the opening markets. It's $4.70 favourite on the tote ahead, and that's the one at 680. We're going to rock at 740. And
thought it was going to be all week, Souls and Itzen, but it's actually Moment of Change. We've just been notified. It's been back twice, big time here on track and around the country. Number 9, Moment of Change for the Slade Bloodstock is the Sporting Bet Market Mover here.
About to get set. Second if it's in the all white colours. Just a couple to move in. 540 tote favourite. It's a Rupert Clarke. And they're racing. Glass Harmonium jumped evenly on the inside. Shanghai Warrior eases back at the start. Moment of Change goes forward. His stablemate, Mr. Make Believe, bounded out and had the lead. We're going to rock second. Moment of Change charging over. Got the second now. Mr. Milton fourth. A length and a half away is Glass Harmonium. Solzhenitsyn's on his outside, followed by Pinwheel, and then came That's the One, just getting tightened for room. Instinction on his inside, a length and a half to second. Everett Smoke and Joey Centennial Park, Bomba Tomba. Then Strike the Stars and Shanghai Warrior. Going quickly at the 800 metres. Mr. Make Believe by 2 lengths to Moment of Change. 2.5 away. We're going to rock. Who's over on the inside of Mr. Milton. Then Solzhenitsyn. He's followed Glass Harmonium, Pinwheel. A length further back, Instinction. Smoke and Joey getting up on the inside, followed by That's the One. Strike the Stars, second effort. Bomba Tomba, Centennial Park and Shanghai Warrior. They're on the turn for home now. And Mr. Make Believe, the leader. Moment of Change, poised for his run. We're going to rock 2 lengths away from Mr. Milton. Solzhenitsyn pulled out wider. Then came Pinwheel. Mr. Make Believe tackled by Moment of Change. And Moment of Change dashed to the lead now at the 200 metres. We're going to rock's quickly after him. Moment of Change in front of We're going to rock with 100 to go. Moment of Change through 3/4 to We're Gonna Rock. Bit of changes hanging onto the lead from We're Gonna Rock. He'll win it. Moment of change. Beat We're Gonna Rock a length and a half. Solzhenitsyn a length and a half third. Close for fourth between Glass Harmonium and Smoke and Joey, who got home, and then Instinction, Pinwheel, Strike the Stars, Bomb to the Tumba. Followed further back in the field then by That's the One, and second.
Good horse, a really good positive ride from Luke Nolan, straight over from the outside. He took the gate out of the situation early, sat on the leader, drove to the front. They had their chance to pick him up, but he's a pretty smart horse, this horse, and he's won it well. They've run 120. Was the sporting bet market mover. $5 into 440, so some good bets landed. Luke Nolan takes out.
Big effort to come from the outside there again today. He's drawn the outside each of his 3 runs, and no secret, I hold him in very high regard. The horse, he's just been dogged by a bit of bad luck. His record could have been a bit better, but it's nice to see him get that Group 1 out of the way today.
He's run a really good time, and the more you look at that replay, you'll see that he's done a lot of work early up the hill. And I'll tell you what, he was there to be run down, but he was super.
Yeah, he was, but Luke didn't rush around them. He took his.
Have a quick chat to you.
One race might not be his last. Interim dividends coming onto your screen there. Got into 410, and those interim dividends brought to you by Inglis. Here's Luke with Richo.
Beat We're Gonna Rock a length and a half. Solzhenitsyn a length and a half third.
And for the grand finals, we had Group 1 racing, didn't we, on Sunday? So Rupert Clark Stakes, the Group 1 over 1400. Another one for Moody, another one for Nolan, and it was a pretty comprehensive performance, really, Rich.
Well, it was, and a good win, well placed there for moment of change. I think we need more gradings. Right? We should have Group 1A, Group 1B, right? And that is Group 1B, that one. And you can't argue with that, can you, Ronnie?
Those horses could have come out and trifecta the Emirates, if all you know, at the end of the carnival. Well, wait and
Actually,
see.
you know what? You're right. They're heading to the Emirates. Whether they're good enough, that's another story.
Solzhenitsyn's only first up. The winner's a very good horse who's fully mature now. Geez, you're tough this morning. You want to change the...
Welcome back here to Royal coming into the RT for race 3. The Billy's Pies Roman Consul Stakes, a Group 2 for 3-year-olds, and it is the filly who is the favourite, Ichihara, the winner of the Heritage Stakes, beating the boys last start. She's $1.
Your song has had some support. Just whether he's been in work too long, that's the query.
And there they go, they're off and racing. Queen's Elect didn't show a great deal of early speed. Destruction's racing up on the outside with Your Song, and they head Ichihara in the early stages. Night Exemplar just inside them in fourth, followed by Jolie Bay and Queen's Elect at the back of the field. Running up to the 600, Ichihara led from Your Song on the outside, 3/4 away. Destruction sat a little bit deep all the way. Then Night Exemplar, Jolie Bay and Queen's Elect hard ridden to the tail. It's Ichihara in front from Your Song as they come up the rise. Then came Night Exemplar's poised behind them. Ichihara's under pressure as Your Song went up on the outside, and Your Song has put its bib in front now from the favourite Ichihara. Night Exemplar getting up on the inside, and Jolie Bay is starting to wind up down the centre. Night Exemplar went through along the inside. Jolie Bay is storming home down the outer. Night Exemplar's in front. Jolie Bay dived, and Jolie Bay put a big bound in on the line. Photo, Jolie Bay and Night Exemplar. And third rest between Your Song and Ichihara from Queen's Elect. And Destruction has finished last of all.
Well, we have a photo there for the winner of the Roman Consul, Jolie Bay. I have a fancy at Bay, who's been a pretty good broodmare for them with the 3 winning foals from her to come back. And
Good effort by Jay Ford there. Beautifully timed his run on Jolie Bay. Night Exemplar thought he had the race, and then yours.
That Dare to Dream going round in the Craven Plate. The favourite, though, is Moraine for Team Williams, $3.50 into $3.20. And
00723. Number 2, Moraine, Caroline, is a sporting bet market mover.
$3.50 into $3.10, as you said.
To win the Roman Consul, Whittington took out the Breeders' Plate, and an outsider, Brilliant Bisque, took out the Jim Crack race number 1.
From gate 2 was Moores Creek. Gingadood trying to be ridden along in the early part to pick up ground. Herculean Prince and Moraine striding forward with Western Symbol. So Herculean Prince went up and put its head in front early from Moores Creek. Then Moraine, Gingadood, Western Symbol, followed by Less Is More. Last of all, Dare to Dream. The pace is on as they go down the side. 800 to go. Herculean Prince led, but Moraine sticking close at hand. In fact, closing in now, only 3/4 away. 2.5 to Moores Creek, Gingadood, Western Symbol. And then further back, Gazaguru is in front of Less Is More, and then Class Is Class and Dare to Dream. These 2 leaders have sped right away. Bowman now put putting the pressure on Herculean Prince with Moraine, and Moraine striding up on the outside. He's gone for the whip on Herculean Prince, and Moraine now strides to the lead. So it's Moraine on the outside, getting his head in front of Herculean Prince, who's not going away. About 3 lengths, Western Symbol and Moles Creek, who are starting to run on, and then Less is More and Dare to Dream coming on as well. Moraine in front, but he's got some chasers. Western Symbol, Dare to Dream, and Less is More. Moraine still with his head in front. Western Symbol on the outside, getting on level twos. Ryan's fighting though, and Ryan won it from Western Symbol. Dare to Dream got third, and then Moores Creek and Less is More, followed by Class is Class Who. Look to be struggling a fair way out from Herculean Prince and then Gazaguru. And back at the tail of the field, Gingadoo.
Wow, it was pretty tough, wasn't it? Moraine has taken this out for Robert Hickmott, Team Williams, and Huey Bowman at those famous Williams colours, 36.7. For the final 600, there are the English interims on your screen.
And it looked, the tougher the battle, the better he loved it, and it was a strong Craven play.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was a good race. You can see the way that they sprinked Western Symbol leading into the Cameron. He's obviously been going very well on the track. Something was still going to miss in the Cameron, but he obviously ran up to form. Herculean Prince certainly made it a genuine staying test. Hugh knew he had a tough horse, so he took it up to him, and he was there to get beaten, but he was too good for him.
Can go to Melbourne and be competitive in Group 2, Group 3s. And it is Bart's Melbourne Cup dream still alive here. Dare to Dream. This imported horse, only his second run back from a spell, still got plenty of condition to work with. And I love the way he hits the line. He's an interesting horse, this, Dare to Dream.
One thing I would say about Huey Bowman,
We have the first of our Group 1s coming up. This for the 3-year-olds, the Shandon Spring Champion Stakes, and a short price favourite. No surprise, Prossier. He is unbeaten, 3 from 3. He's the winner of the Newcastle Spring Stakes, and he's $1.45 into $1.30 on course. $6.50 for It's a Done Deal is the next best in the ring. Let's get to the yard here. Number 1, Prossier by Choisir, out of an Encosta de Lago mare, Prophet Jewel. She won 6 races out of the 1,300 metres. Go Waterhouse has
$1.20 is on the way there.
He's a much bigger horse, isn't he? Number 2, It's a Done Deal. Gee, he looks super in his coat, doesn't he, for Murray Baker?
Put up $1.45. He's into $1.30. $1.45 to $1.30. It's a Done Deal. $5.50 now out to $6.50. So one class here. Is your sportingbet.com.au market move.
Done Deal. Unders at 4.20. Year-olds are away, often racing. Or Plus here only jumped fairly. He's back about second last early on. He's going to have to try and dig him up to get a spot. King of Olympia and Bradman were the best 2 into stride. Plus here now starting to pick up along the inside. 1 off the rail to go to third, followed by Luna Rise. And then Laser Flash, followed by Honorius, and It's a Done Deal is back last of all, and McDonald just riding him along to try and pick up some ground. So King of Olympia is racing a bit keenly on the outside, took the lead. Well back off the speed here, about 5 lengths off the leader, 1 off the rail. Honorius is slipping past him, so he's gone to second last now, Poisson. And It's a Done Deal. His main rival is right on his hammer in last spot. 800 to go. King of Olympia slowing them down. Led by 3/4, Laser Flash. Bladman third. Then the Luna Rise, followed by Honorius, Poisson, and It's a Done Deal is back at the tail of the field as they're swinging up to the 600 metres in the Spring Champion Stakes. It's King of Olympia in front from Laser Flash, and then Bradman, Luna Rise. Then It's a Done Deal is starting to move around the outside. Poisson is held up for a run at the moment. Honorius looking for a run in the centre. Luna Rise swept up now. Poisson got out into the clear, and he's about to sprint out after him. And Poisson now ran to the front. It's a Done Deal on his outsides, trying to go with him. And these 2 unbeaten colts race away and leave them for dead. It's Poisson in front. It's a Done Deal on the outside. It's starting to wind up. It's Poisson in front. It's a Done Deal on the outside. Lunges and wins it. It's a Done Deal beat Poisson. A great finish to the Spring Champion Stakes. Third home Honorius. And then Bradman, followed by Luna Rise. And then further back Laser Flash. And last in, King of Olympia.
Oh, he might be the smaller horse, but as I said pre-race, he is an up-and-coming stayer. It's a Done Deal. The son of High Chaparral takes out the Group 1 Shandon Spring Champion Stakes. Well, he was in an awkward spot, but he had every chance in the end, and It's a Done Deal. It was just too strong for him.
Honorius runs third. It's a Done Deal. I thought he was. And a worthy Derby favourite now. It's a Done Deal. Beats Brassier. Well, he might be winning a Cox Plate off the back of that. Honorius back.
That's 5 wins. He remains undefeated. 5 wins. He remains undefeated. What a good 3-year-old.
Yeah, no, he's a good staying horse. Hits the line well. Was a bit worried when he was back there
But, he just outstayed him in the final bit.
He seemed to put.
That when he really knuckled down and hit the line, and that was the best part of his race. I thought both these horses were in a bit of trouble the way the race was being run from
Only one could come out unbeaten, and it was the more Dow. Perhaps that's a done deal. The stay will come to Melbourne for the Derby, being the more brilliant Prasia. No excuse. Surprised he got back as far as it did, but there were some issues early in the race which may have dictated that, Rich. But honours in the end go to James McDonald here on It's a Done Deal.
No doubt. Look, he's only a tiny little thing. He's got a big motor. It's a done deal. I underestimated him going into yesterday. I wasn't convinced he was up to them, but he'll relish a mile and a half at Flemington. That's just going to be his go. He's a bulldog. He's a lot better horse than I thought he was. And Murray Baker's always had raps on him. Murray's Beyond Baker told my old man before he come out here. He said, "Dad's bringing this Ishap Brow lad. He's got a big rap on." He's now won 4 in a row in Australia, but that was his biggest test yesterday. Prasia, he'd been slow in one of his trials. He was slow out at his first start, and then his next start he began brilliantly, worked forward. So he was just a little bit slow out, and Nash elected. I thought when he sprinted to the top of the rise, that was the end of the section, but this little bloke was just a bulldog.
Yeah, look, I don't think Poitiers went all that badly. I don't think most people would have thought that Poitiers and It's a Done Deal would have been level at the top of the straight. I think most people would have thought Poitiers would have been 4 or 5 lengths in front of him. Look, I thought he's so small, that horse, It's a Done Deal, that when he got against better company, it might count against him, but it certainly wasn't the case. 2 outstanding runs. They just gapped the rest of the field, and obviously it's going to be hard to beat in the Derby if he keeps training on.
Here's that. Let's turn a forward.
It's a done deal on the outside. It's starting to wind up. It's Poitiers in front. It's a done deal on the outside. Lunges and wins it. It's a done deal. Beat Poitiers. A great finish to the Spring Champion Stakes.
There's staying effort there, and the Baker stable knows a little bit about winning derbies and winning staying races with 3-year-olds. $6.50 Prasia, $1.28. Rich, I just think Prasia was beaten by a better stayer, a stronger stayer.
You could be right, TK. I wouldn't bag Nash's ride. I don't think Nash did much wrong. The horse stepped away a little slower than Nash thought he probably would, and put Nash in a position where he had to go to plan B. But from then on, Nash did nothing wrong. I tell you who rode the race of his life, though. It was a brilliant ride, James McDonald. Yeah. He was back behind Nash. He had the drop on Nash, but he thought, no, I mightn't be able to outsprint you. So he got going earlier. He put Nash back in a pocket for a stride or two, which forced Nash and flushed him out earlier than Nash would have wanted to come in. Here it is. Nash has had to push out inside him, and now Nash is flushed out. He's got to go. Now, this comes down to the test of the best stayer here. Now, I think Poisier's put, 2 lengths on him there? Mm-hmm. And this horse, this was impressive the last 100 metres, Ronnie. When he actually knuckled down, look at him flatten out and pull ground off Poisier now.
He savaged the line, didn't he? Yeah. He's the real deal. He's the real deal. Don't worry about that. He's not a big horse, and I'm sort of saying he's been up a while now, and I keep saying it, but he's obviously thriving with racing, because that's his best performance, first time at 2,000 metres, and a deserved 2-1 favourite in the VRC Derby, no doubt about it. He's just got to hold that condition a little and get there in one.
Join us in the yard for the second of our big Group 1 features. This is the Flight Stakes for the 3-year-old filly, sponsored by Cornwall Start. Of course, they got a big Groove, the Reginald Allen winner from last week, $3.70 into $2.70,
$4.60 Urban Groove into $2.70. Been very, very Flight Stakes. Number 6 Urban Groove, 1-800-007 Tooth Trade. It's your sporting bet market mover.
But she does have to jump from 1,200 to 1,600, and just looking.
They're off and racing. Gondoroko came out slowly. Longport was the best out. Urban Groove was quickly on the scene up to second, and then came Duet showing a bit of early speed, followed by Flying Schnitzel and Norzita. Dear Demi settles back behind them, followed by Shea Harmony and Jade Marauder, and Gondoroko back last. So Dear Demi, it looks like it's trapped out a little bit wide as Jade Marauder come up underneath it, and she's throwing the head around Dear Demi, so he's not going to fight her. So they settle down. It's Longport in front, and Dear Demi being given a head to stride up into second spot. Then Urban Groove in front, leading out by a length on Dear Demi. Urban Groove is on the back of them, followed in behind them next by Duet over on the fence, and then Norzita. Flying Schnitzel further back, followed by Jade Marauder, Shea Harmony, and last is Gondoroko. The leader is Longport from Daredemi. Norzita's now starting to stride up. It's moving up on the outside. Duet over on the fence. Urban Groove looking to try and push out now as Jaden Rorder is trying to come up to shoulder it back in, but Urban Groove came out quickly into the straight and Longport led. Daredemi's under pressure in the middle. Norzita went past it. Then Urban Groove. It's a Longport in front of Norzita. Well, they had a battle royal in the team race here the other day, and they're going to fight it out again with Norzita on the outside, getting the upper hand, and she is racing away. They won't take it off her today. Norzita goes on to beat Longport and Daredemi, then Urban Groove, followed by Duet and Flying Schnitzel.
Well, she's proven she's been the dominant 3-year-old filly here this season. Norzita in the spring in Sydney. She has outgunned Longport, who had the T-Rose. For Bart Cummings, a Group 1 for Bart Cummings. Welcome back to the track here, Bart. Huey Bowman, that means so much to him getting on in New Zealand. A third dam is that mighty producing mare in Summon. So it is the family of Zetative.
Cummings, first one, 1958, we touched on earlier. Norzita, $200,000 Thorn Park filly. And she was dominant there, and she may come to Melbourne and take the 1,000 guineas down here too, Rich.
Yeah, I think that's where the plan's to be. She was dominant yesterday. Good ride by Huey Bowman. Put her in there. Longport just keeps starting huge odds and ran another terrific race. Daredemi was okay late. I think she's probably looking for that little bit further.
By Huey Bowman on Norzita. Lost to Longport last time protest. There was no protest this time, just a big margin. Actually blew in the betting. But what
Great judge of speed, Bowman. He realised that they were going slow during that race. They were getting a rest. He says, well, I've got to be in touch on the point of the turn. And he was, and that was a winning move. Great training performance by the master as well. Look, she'd had 3 weeks between runs last time when she was beat on protest. And you could see she just knocked up. A bit more work into her, a quicker backup, and
we got a lot of Group 1s.
Yeah. We have got a lot of Group 1s, and I don't believe a race should be a Group 1 when it's split. Having said that, I've either underrated Norzita or I've overrated the ones behind her because, and I think it's probably a bit of both. I think Norzita's better than I thought she was, and I think the others aren't as good as I thought they were. So, yeah.
Back here at Royal Randwick, the feature race here. The Epsom Handicap, the Epsom Mile is coming up next, the third of our Group 1s this afternoon. And the favourite from the Gay Waterhouse stable, it is Fat Al at around $4.40. We have $6 up the top for Shootout, and then further down $6.50 for Ambi Dexter. Let's go to the yard here for the Star.
Into $7. Monton, $51. Yosei and 6 Ambi Dexter. But number 8, Fat Al, is your sporting bet market mover. It's
spectacle, isn't it, Mark Sheen?
Yeah, I love these big miles at Doncaster and the Epsom Caroline. Of course, a Doncaster normally has the 3-year-old, so we've got a little bit of different sort of form lines going to those, but this Epsom is always a...
They're about to jump, and they're off and racing. Kentucky Park and Jose both missed it hopelessly. Fat Al came out and is one of the leaders with Rolling Pin just after the start. Tagus on the outside. Ambi Dexter jumped out well. Wild and Proud on the improver, then Light in the Night and Gangster's Choice, the stablemates together. Stumpin' Any Pin back off the speed today, midfield, followed by Secret Admirer. Rangy Rang Doos deep, about 4 wide early on the outside of the stablemate Shootout. And then Kentucky Park has picked up some ground from Sedcom Monton and Jose at the back. Well, he's allowing Fat Al to run today. And as they head to the side of the track, it led by 2.5. Rolling Pin is second, Tagus third. Ambi Dexter over on the rail next. Stumpin' Any Pin's crept up to 5th. And then Wild and Proud, Light in the Night. Shootout up to midfield, 3 wide with cover, and then Gangster's Choice. Followed further back by Rangy Rang Do, still out wide on the outside of Secret Admirer. Then Kentucky Park and Monton, Sedcom and Jose is last. Fat Al led, but Rolling Pin is starting to move up on the outside. And they lead as they come for home. Tagus poking through in the centre. Ambi Dexter's had a charm run back on the inside. And then Stumpin' Any Pin as they turn for home. It's a Fat Al just in front of Rolling Pin. Ambi Dexter directly behind them, but Fat Al had a kick of the 200, led by 3/4 on Rolling Pin. Ambi Dexter's down into the clear. Rangy Rang Doos coming down the outside. It's still Fat Al in front, led from Ambi Dexter and Rolling Pin. In front, Ambi Dexter's going after it on the outside. Fat Al and Ambi Dexter. Fat Al won the Epsom, led all the way, and beat Ambi Dexter, Rolling Pin and Light in the Night. Then Secret Admirer, followed by Shootout, Tag Us and Wild and Proud from Yozo.
Congratulations, Kate Waterhouse. She is absolutely pumped. We'll see if we can show you some of the shots right next to us in this host position. She is ecstatic, as are all the owners here of Fat Al, the son of Al Maher. He is the winner of the Epsom Handicap, or the Star Epsom for 2012, beating home number 6, Ambidexter, and number 7 in Rolling Pin. Ambidexter trying hard, but Fat Al, he's held on right on the line. Tommy Berry looking at him, beheld him, and he is the Epsom winner. Rich?
It certainly is, and that was the way to ride him. They rode him aggressive today. Yeah, I'd love to see the second half.
Maher, the Australian Guineas winner, out of Fatoon, a very good mare by Snardy, who won a Riesling and a Sapphire Stakes. Family of Mudawajid as well.
Been raising money for charity, great stuff there for the Waterhouses. Bought for just 27,000, 10 starts, 6 wins. Fat Al makes the Shannon Theo Marks form stand up here, turning it round, beating Ambidexter and Rolling Pin. And Tommy just got rolling yesterday. That was the key to him and just keeping him in the zone.
Well, yeah, that's right. As I said before, Gay had him trained to the minute. She getting pretty fit going into the Shannon last week because she didn't want to have to do too much with him.
The racehorse, he's grabbed the Group 1 yesterday, of course. Where can you see Fat Al progressing? And is that mile to 2,000 his best distance, do you think?
I think so. He's mile to 2,000 is his best. So I think 2,000 will be his best because he's definitely got that stain.
Certainly did. $4.60 the favourite there for Fat Al. Kate Waterhouse, her 7th Epsom handicap. It's quite remarkable, isn't it? Equaling the record set by the legendary father and TJ Smith there. And not only that, it's Kay's 3rd Epsom in the space of some 5 years. And what association now with the back of the field. An on-pace dominated race.
Look, the Epsom, I think 10 of the last 13 years, the 4-year-olds have won it. And yesterday, bang, bang, 1-2, domination again. So it's a great race for 4-year-olds, the Epsom. And 1-2.
To Royal Randwick, and the runners are in the yard for our 4th big Group 1 here on Super Saturday at Epsom, and a great crowd out here. That drizzle did clear a couple of hours ago, so some great racing we are seeing this afternoon. Glencaddam Gold, a really good go again for the Waterhouse runner, $3.50 into $2.80 in favourite.
71. Pearl Bell's 31 to 41. Lemissary's just come back into 460 from 5. But the sporting bet market mover is number 6, Glencaddam Gold. This has been a huge go. 1-800-00723. SBet.mobi, Australia's biggest and best bookmaker. And this is the sporting bet market mover on the Group 1 for Grove State Agents Metropolitan. Number 6, Glencaddam Gold.
Eric Keat winning a Caulfield Cup, Railings a Caulfield Cup as well, and back through some good stayers in Hay Ming Dynasty and Battle Heights. All right, we are right on start time. The McGrath Agents Metropolitan for 2012. Here.
And Crafty Earner missed the start from one of the inside stalls, came out a couple of lengths behind them. Glencaddam Gold led from the Verminator, dug up to go to second early on, followed by Kalini and Reuben Percival. And then Permit, who's in about 5th spot early on. Lamissery back on the inside. Buxted going up now into about 6th. And then Stout-Hearted midfield. Crafty Earner picking up ground after that slow getaway. Followed by Fictional Account, Polish Knight. And back last of all is Peeler Bells, about 2 or 3 away. So the heavily back favourite takes him to the side, Glencaddam Gold. And a similar gap away last of all, Peeler Bells. So it's Glencaddam Gold, who's unbeaten in Australia since arriving from overseas. Trying to lead all the way in the Metropolitan, about a length on the stablemate Reuben Percival. The Verminator next, a length Kalini, followed by Permit and Buxted and Lemissary over on the rail, followed by Stout-Hearted going up to join Ed. Further back was Crafty Earner, and then Fictional Account, Polish Knight still back second last, but about to roll up behind a couple of horses, and Peeler Bells last of all. Glencaddam Gold led with Barry still having a lap full of horse at the moment. Reuben Percival niggled on the outside. Baxted got up to 3rd under the whip. Then the Verminator, Stout-Hearted starting to improve on the outside. Then in the centre, Kalini, followed by Permit, and at the head of the others, Crafty Earner. Glencaddam Gold in front. Reuben Percival moved up on the outside. He still hasn't moved on the leader. Now he gives it more rain, Glencaddam Gold, and it said ta-da. Raced away from Reuben Percival. Kalini's coming down the outside, and then Stout-Hearted, but Glencaddam Gold is racing away with the Metropolitan, 3 or 4 lengths in front, and he remains undefeated in Australia. Glencaddam Gold beat Kalini. Reuben Percival got 3rd, and then Lamissery and Stout-Hearted, followed by Buxted. Further back was Peeler Bells.
And then double for Tommy Berry and Gay Waterhouse. Glencaddam Gold, Gay Waterhouse first and third in the McGrath Metropolitan for 2012. This horse, 4 from 4 now in Australia, and a well done to Robbie Cup horse for the stable. $3, $1.60 the English interims, $2.20 for Kalini and $6.80 for Ruben Percival. So it takes so much to get these stayers.
Fantastic, I'll tell you, look about the Quinolman. Ruben running second, hey? No, it was just fantastic. He's such an exciting horse, I can't tell you. Look out, Caulfield Melbourne Cups.
And Nash, we've been saying it for a long time. He's a Caulfield Cup horse, he is now. And you should have seen how he pulled up after the race. He didn't go around, he enjoyed it. He's a top-class stayer, and I hope...
Gay, another Tattersalls horse in training, graduate, 135,000 guineas, probably about 200,000 Aussie if you're doing a bit of rough maths on that, as Mark said there in the call. Unbeaten in Australia. And Tommy, you rode him at Rosehill a few starts ago. He's obviously just made magnificent progression through his time in Australia for Gay.
Yeah, he has. He's really learned to relax now. A lot of them English stays when they first come over, they've got a very high action and they get their head up quite high, but he's really learned to switch off, and his work at home, he works like a sprinter. He runs times that only sprinters would. So, but it was good to see him stay the trip yesterday, and he felt like he'd run 3,200 easy. He pulled up very well in the front races and still be there at the end. So I don't think it'll be a problem at all.
I tell you who is worried, Tommy, is Richie and the Shark. They're the ones that are worried after making some statements about this
To be
horse.
fair, I've only got to wear a footy jumper and a wig. Richie's got to, well, let's just say we'll see a little bit more of Richie than we probably want to.
And it just beat Brian's honour. Even part of me ahead of Canterbury, and she said it'll win the Caulfield Cup. You've got to take it to task over that. Obviously, I'm Pedro's.
Start backing up, Richie, because I've started backing it just in case. Because if I'm going to look like an idiot on TV, I might as well have a bit of cash in my pocket.
I thought the exact same thing, and that's why I backed it yesterday, and the way it looked in the yard. And
There, and in under 20 years, Gay's achieved that. Bartrain won yesterday. His first was in 1958, I think it was. Extraordinary record, and what a treasure she is for Australian racing, Richard.
She's amazing. I interviewed her a few times.
He remains undefeated in Australia. Glencaddam Gold beat Kalini. Ruben Percival got third.
Favourites, so very popular with punters. Kalini was a terrific effort, and Gay got first and third there. That is Gay to take on the leader. When he got the soft lead, he's a horse got to turn a foot, and that's his big advantage.
Yeah. Spot on. He's got tactical to beat. He puts himself in the race, and then he can click on off that pace, which is that's making him very hard to beat. Ruben Percival was absolutely terrific. Second up, mile and a half. You know, he was tremendous there.
And Cup this year is part of it.
Permit was very disappointing.
Yeah, Lamaseries pulled up with a ongoing arthritic problem that the horse has had through its racing days. It won't be seen again to put him straight into the spelling paddock and try and get him back for the autumn. So there were...
Coming out for the final race on the program, another stakes race, and this is the Premier Stakes. We see Rain Affair. Of course, he resumed with a disappointing...
Streamer, sportingbet.com.au market mover, number 5 Streamer. Very, very heavily backed here, 1-800 double. I'm just banking on that Rain Affair, that trial's back, Corey on board. He'll either win and go to Melbourne, he'll get beat and go to the paddock.
Hurdle Moodle has taken her spot in the stalls. And they're off and racing. Renewed Vitality and Satin Shoes jumped out well. Rain Affair starting to muster speed along the inside, and it will take up the running, and then Pear Tart, followed by Ever the Same and Red Tracer. Hurdle Myrtle further back as they settle down. Streamer trying to work up to midfield, one off the rail, and then further back Emotional Circus and Shannara. It's Rain Affair striding clear, 800 to go, led by 2 on Renewed Vitality. Satin Shoes on the outside, and then came Pear Tart running fourth, Red Tracer fifth, followed further back by Hurdle Myrtle, and then Streamer and Neck away on the outside a bit. Shannara trying to pick up some ground. Ever the Same's lost its spot, and Emotional Circus back last of all. Rain Affair's got them well strung out, coming for home. 2.5 Satin Shoes doing the chasing from Renewed Vitality. Then further back, Red Tracer. Streamer is about 5 or 6 off the lead. Rain Affair led, but Satin Shoes is closing in on the outside, and Red Tracer is starting to belt down the centre. Rain Affair's being collared now by Red Tracer, who went up to hit the lead from Satin Shoes. It's Red Tracer starting to come away, and Red Tracer beat in second Satin Shoes, and Emotional Circus flashed home for third. Then Renewed Vitality. Streamer found it too short. Ever the Same ran on. Rain Affair only a shadow of himself at the moment, followed by Pear Tart. And then Shannara and Hurdle Myrtle finished last of all.
Oh, it's the mares 1, 2, 3. Red Tracer, number 4.
The story of this race is Rain Affair. He obviously has not come up at all. He popped on straightening here, and he has to go to the paddock. And a good return by Red Tracer. She's a group class mare.
Well, she is. She's a good, tough mare. And I reckon it's tough for things like Streamer as 4-year-olds in their first season as 4-year-olds to match it with tough old mares like that.
Choose an Emotional Circus flashed home for third.
And just on the previous winner, the Bar Cummings winner, looking at the his calendar. Here's the Blazer line up here. Most of these mares obviously aiming towards Group 1 glory. This in a month's time here in the Maya Classic. And the Machine is clearly the best of this lot. And if she's going as well as she can, well, today will tell us a lot about Machine. Let's go to the yard gate. Of course, it was Robert Smurden and Machine here. This thing's going to get a good spot today, Machine. Now the support's coming for Machine.
Yeah. Well, that's what you wanted to see. She opened 420. She got out to 480. She's just come back into 460. She will run the favourite ahead of Soft Sand, but there's been some...
Racing Soft Sand missed it by a length and Machine away brilliantly. Full of Spirit Ease is back in the early stages. Celebrity Girl got away pretty quickly as they settle into stride, and Assertive Eagle pounced on the lead. So it's Assertive Eagle at the 1200 metres, having the lead from Miss Delabelle, settling second, 2 lengths away, Celebrity Girl. Machine down on the inside in fourth, 2 Twilighting, Raspberries wide, Chopaholic on the rails. A length and a half further back in the field is High Bell. She's 3 deep but does have some cover. Total Attraction between runners, Soft Sand, worse in midfield, the rail. 1 Banaria followed by Pretty Pins, Galazzani on the rail, and they're followed by Invest in Chatting Waters and Full of Spirit 2 lengths away. So it's Assertive Eagle, the leader. Miss Delabelle running second. Machine waits on the run behind them. Celebrity Girl, Red Colours poised fourth. Then Raspberries deep out. Twilighting, Shopaholic just niggled out along the inside. And Soft Sand is following her. Total Attraction strung up for runs. And High Bell peels out. Assertive Eagle leads in the early part of the straight from Miss Delabelle. Machines in the clear, starting to come on now and chase these leaders down, and they're followed by Raspberries and High Bell from Twilighting and Chopaholic. Miss Delabelle, the leader. Machine, here's her moment now. She's been asked to go out after Miss Delabelle, who clings on. Miss Delabelle, but Machine at the 100. She really answers the call. It's the lead for Hall, and Machine is back to win by about a length on the line. Either Banaria, who flew home, or Miss Delabelle for the Miners. Then close up is Raspberries, Assertive Eagle on the rail, and Full of Spirit. That was the eye catcher, and the red cap who really stormed home late. Soft Sand followed Galazzani, and one more. That's Celebrity Girl.
She's back, Machine. Fantastic training performance by Robert Smurden to get her back to winning fitness and to winning form finally. En route now towards the Maya Classic after shelving a Cox Plate campaign. Because last year Nick Hall did it on Lady the Net in this race again.
No, you got it right the first time. I was a bit anxious as I was going to the gates. I thought things
Absolutely no luck whatsoever. In, out, back out, in, and never got through it all. So you can forget she ran and another big tick for Banaria's performance.
Okay, that was great, Machine, and one more run of the Maya.
Yeah, fantastic run. Great to see her back. She looked fitter yesterday, and with the Frankel nasal strip there, she did the job, tongue over. So she was terrific, and all credit to her going forward and improving. Full of spirit from is a horse really to identify here, especially going out towards a mile. I think they've twigged that she perhaps isn't a stayer. She tried the Oaks during the autumn, but she was fantastic the last 600.
I think Robert's bought a box of those
results there. She's the 460 favourite, her winning there. Another fast step rock, by the way. Banaria and Miss Delabelle, we'll talk about them, but Roberts assessed her beautifully. She's back at mare's level.
Yeah.
I don't think she's back at the top level, Machine. She's back for mare's level, and that's exactly where he's going to place her. This was a pretty deep mare's race. There were plenty of good mares in this race. Raspberry sat 3 deep, faced the breeze, and batted on really well here. Banaria from the back, Miss Delabelle, they were all good runs in the race. But, Soft Sand, Ronnie, what did you make?
Yeah, she looks back on track, doesn't she, Machine, for the mare's race? And I suppose these nasal strips will be the flavour of the month again. See, she wore a nasal strip, so we'll see more of them over the carnival after that win.
Yeah. Coming up next here. Edward Manifold Stakes coming up next here at Flemington Melbourne Cup Carnival Preview Day. Let's get stuck with the action because we've only got 10 minutes to go here. And
it's been supported. 7 into 5 though for me. This is pushed Commanding Jewel out from 280 out to 330. There's a bit of interest in your last leg up. Real Stolly at a price. Maybe discreet. Late money for the favourite. And the pick from the yard, 330 into 310.
Commanding Jewel. Walk with
And the starters caught them okay, although Show My Miss again, a bit slow to move, and she's going to settle third or fourth last. And Commanding Jewel pinged away that quickly. She's up there on the lead with Real Stolly. And now Walk With Attitude goes around them and takes up the running. So it's Walk With Attitude, just over a length in front. Moving up to second, Maybe Discreet. And Real Stolly's a length and a half third. Commanding Jewel just settles off them fourth now with back, followed by Affable. And then came Alzora towards the end of the field. And she's back there in company with Zydeco. So Walk With Attitude had the lead coming up towards the home turn. Maybe Discreet running second. Real Stolly right behind them. Commanding Jewel poised in the checkers. Taters coming on deep around them as they corner, and then Cameo, Proper Madam trying to work into it. The Grey Members Joy, one of the deepest. Walk With Attitude had the lead from Maybe Discreet. Real Stolly now Commanding Jewel called on by Oliver. She's starting to wind up with a pretty strong run, and back behind those is Cameo. Walk With Attitude tackled by Commanding Jewel down towards the 200 metres. Maybe Discreet coming with her in the middle. Members Joy running on. Maybe Discreet. She's got to the lead. Maybe Discreet. Commanding Jewel can't reach them. Members Joy coming. Maybe Discreet hanging on from Members Joy, who's driving really outside. They hit the line. Maybe Discreet. Maybe Discreet just wins from Members Joy. Commanding Jewel ran third. Then Zydeco getting home strongly. Might have got the fourth ahead of Cameo. Walk With Attitude, and further back Rouge and Elzora back at the tail.
There's a photo on your screen. Confirm Greg's call of the race. Number 4, Maybe Discreet, outlast Members Joy.
Okay, let's go over to...
By the filly had run up the mile previously, Maybe Discreet. A discreet name living on in South Australian racing, and she'll be a player come the day. Members Joy excellent, and Zydeco for the Oaks caught the eye. You think we saw the 1,000 guineas winner at Flemington yesterday or not?
I don't think so. I think this race was typical of the spring season we've seen from the 3-year-old fillies so far. It seems to be a different lead-up race and a different winner each week. For mine, Love for Ransom is still the key runner from a Victorian point of view.
So what do you have to say about last week?
Oh, look, if you had no chance the way that race was run last week, it was absolutely zero guide. If we get
A nice ride too by Luke Nolan, the $5 mark. Members Joy, which is owned by thousands of people.
Finishing off at a mile, Commanding Jewel for me. Good filly, this. She's strong on the line there. She did a bit of work. She drew the outside barrier. She got the job done. Look, I don't know what to think about this 1,000 guineas. I know what I'm thinking about the Oaks there. Did you see that filly charging home out wide there? Zydeco, a Zabeel filly, the widest runner in the Darley colours with the white hat. If that's not the best Oaks trial of the season, I'll give it away. She'll eat up ground. Look at her savaging the line this last 50 metres here. That was a great Oaks trial, and she's my horse to follow.
She's just come off the Gill guy, where the favourite is a Bell Sprinter, and there is Spirit of Boom, of course, his brother.
Outsiders, $9 into $7.50, and well found in the Manning Yard by Sammy. Get the money, so we'll just rest on our laurels for a moment here. No better bet than a sporting bet. No sporting bet market mover for race 8, League 3 quad.
The gates are back and they're off and racing now. King's Rose jumps away well, and Bell Sprinter jumped evenly down on the inside. They're headed immediately by Hello Well Bell. And also bouncing out pretty quickly is Excelentes. But as they settle fully now and through near the inside, Bell Sprinter has a share of the lead. Hello Well Bell just shading him on the outside. Excelentes is a bit deeper out. King's Rose just in behind the leading batch, being closely followed then by Spirit of Boom and the Cheekers, who's outside. Metallurgical, Midsummer Music, the widest. Live and Let Die, a fair way back near the inside. And then came well back is Sistine Angel and Galar. So they're joining up with the course proper now, about 500 metres to go. And Excelentes out in the middle has gone to the lead ahead of Hello Well Bell. Bell Sprinter's being urged, trying to respond down on the inside. And here's Spirit of Boom now. He's letting down with a big run, and further back was Metallurgical. And King's Rose is getting up on the inside. Spirit of Boom raced to Hello Well Bell. Bell Sprinter has responded. King's Rose getting home, and then Metallurgical. Hello Well Bell kicks on. Spirit of Boom died on his run. King's Rose after Hello Well Bell. Hello Well Bell in front. Hello Well Bell by a half to King's Rose. Spirit of Boom ran third. Galar's got home for fourth. Bell Sprinter weakened down on the inside, and then came Metallurgical, followed by Excelente.
Oh, yay. Good on you, Gay. That's how many wins in the Gilguy she had. Anyway, well done to Gay Waterhouse. What a day for her. Good on you, Gay. Hallowell Bell winning here. Well done to Sammy. Spot heading towards the Maya Classic, is she?
I'll leave that one to the bottom. There yesterday. Good day, Waterhouse again. She's got the Melbourne string up and running. This filly had only trialled ordinary coming into Melbourne, but Gay knew what she was doing travelling. Look at this horse through the middle here, late Galar. Oh,
geez, he ran into a dead end there, didn't he?
He's one of mine. He seems to be still gawking between runners. I'd like to see blinkers and not winkers on a horse like him, but
Best race of the day coming up in Melbourne, the Group 1 Turnbull Stakes, with so much hinging on these performances for all of these runners towards the Caulfield Cup, Cox Plate and the Melbourne Cup. Let's go to the Manning Yard. Best try here has been Green Moon. Horses are in the yard.
Member draws on the drift, 550 out to 650. We go down to Happy Trails is 15 and solid. Southern Speed, number 8. We're isolating these. It's 8 out to 9. Voila Ichi is well fancied, 7 into 6. Linton's at 13. Good solid move in this race for the favourite Green Moon, 440 into $4. And then we go down to this one, Seville, right down the bottom, sneaked into the field. It's been 41 into 31. So that's a summary of the Zarella, but it's a draw. Good money for Voila Ichi, the show horse we just saw, 7 into 6. But the best back runner by far here is Green Moon, trying to make it a red letter day for Macedon Lodge team because they've already won with Murray and Tanby today.
A pretty important half hour coming up the Metro, the next Group 1 in Sydney. A few Cups contenders, borderline Cups contenders. Lamassery, a legitimate Caulfield Cup hope there, but a few.
They're ready to go. Racing in the Turnbull Stakes, and Happy Trails began brilliantly down towards the inside to find the early lead. Linton goes on with Mr. Chard, while Easy finding the front, and just off them is December Draw, and now Green Moon being pushed along to find a place. He's just trapped a little bit wide. The two greys settle in front, Wila Easy and Linton the outside, with Green Moon about a length and a half away, but he's doing some work out wide. Mr. Chard the centre, and Happy Trails right behind the front runner. Then came 2 lengths away is Seville, who's down along the inside rail as they run up towards the 1,400 metres. December Draws around him, 1.5 Ethiopia in the middle, with Southern Speed on the outside, and then came Rekindled Interest. About a length away is Niwot wide, followed then by Sneaker Peak and Zarella down on the inside as they go to the 1,200 metres. Mudra was next, followed by Zabillionaire and a length and a half to Winchester. While Easy rolling along as he heads to the 1,000 metres, 2.5 clear from Linton. Happy Trails on the fence in third placing with Green Moon on the outside, and then Mr. Chard fifth, followed by December Draw. Southern Speeds on a wide move, Seville behind them, followed then Ethiopia, and then Niwot Rekindled Interest a fair way back on the rails with Sneaker Peak at the 800. They're followed by Mudra Zarella towards the end with Winchester and Zabillionaire. So they come around the home turn, and Voila Easy has come back with a length lead over Linton. The field is bunching up coming around the home turn. Green Moon in the white cap and Southern Speed out wider. Happy Trails, Mr. Chard behind them. December Draw needing it out. Rekindle Interest getting up on the inside, and then Niwot and Seville. Well in the straight, Voila Easy the leader with Linton on his outside, and now Green Moon joining in. December Draw getting over their heels, and further back in the field, Seville coming. Voila Easy kicking on with Green Moon, Linton, Happy Trails. December Draw and Seville are closing on the outside. Green Moon hit the lead now with 100 to go. Seville closes on his stablemate. Green Moon 3.5. Green Moon in front. Green Moon won it. Seville second, to Photo third. Maybe Voila Easy. There with him is December Draw, and Happy Trails stayed on. Followed Sneaker Peak, and then came Niwot. Out wider was Winchester, finishing off with Zarella, Rekindled Interest and Mr. Chard. Further back is Linton and Zabillionaire. Southern Speed had a torrid run, and Mudra's back at the tail in company with her.
Well, a day for Macedon Lodge and Team Williams. They will know the Turnbull Stakes. It'll be Cox Plate, you'd think now, wouldn't it, for Green Moon into the Melbourne Cup. He's right on song. Seville goes up the batting order in a sterling performance by it. December Draw, every possible chance, perhaps a bit more down today, but he was the winner. But Seville finding form. They've all found form here.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. It's you got to pinch yourself, really. It's you don't have days like this at the races very often, and I guess Dad's been in the game 50 years, and I dare say it's probably one of his better days. And the way those two horses ran today, it's just a great credit to all our staff.
The support of the race here is last year's Craig's winning ride. Southern Speed running last. More on that shortly, Shane.
Yes, they ran 2.2.
Been really fortunate enough that they've and consistently contacted with Lloyd, and I was actually a bit devastated when he got beaten last time. And actually, it was Nick and Sasha. And then Malcolm went through all the times and statistics and everything, and Lloyd said, "I'll have to teach you something about these staying horses," and sure enough, he did. But this horse has just got better and better, and he's going really well. And today, couldn't get him.
Got that now. Perhaps more to come. Green Moon beats stablemate Seville 1-2. for Macedon Lodge, their December draw, another honest third. Let's talk about the winner. There's a profile, you saw Glencairn Gold, because she took that path last year, Nick. We reflect on both of those horses, perhaps, if you like.
Yeah, well, on our horses, or,
I saw Glencairn Gold coming through that. Would he be a threat in the Caulfield Cup?
I think he's got to be a threat. I think.
So Richie's got, he's going to go buff if he wins the Caulfield.
Well, yeah, I think once Gay hears actually won't run him. The population can only deal with so much trauma. No, I think he's a very real chance. I think he had his. I know he's run well over a mile and a half twice. He's still, the question mark with Green Moon is still, will he stay the 3,200 metres? You'd suggest even if he's not a sort of, which I'm sure he's not a Dunedin American type naturals, probably 3,000 metre horse. With the weight he's got, he'll probably get the trip. Yeah,
my heart skipped a beat there. About 150, he was really strong and showed a good turn of foot. So good to see from a European horse. He had a lovely trailing run there, and I was able to come off at about 1,000 there and get a trail behind Green Moon. And Bossy come around me at about the 600, and I just thought it'd be a little bit early for me to expose my bloke. So I just kept sucking up, and it would have been nice to have been at the winner's girth straightening up, because my bloke's a real bulldog. He gives me 2 lengths quite quickly, and then he holds it. But he got a little bit left behind there when they sprinted, but he pulled him back in late, and it was a fantastic run. He's really looking for that 2-4. He put on
the coach now, Piero. $4 last week. Happy to go. 270 now, Innovation Park. More Joyce and Graham Melcy. More Joyce's predicament. Thank goodness for that. Canham Gold favourite. I'm not going to read them out because
$1 Green Moon, because I don't think you see him there.
The Melbourne Cup. I heard your father this morning on radio.
Was the run at Moonee Valley when Happy Trails beat it over the line? Was that one that you just felt got away? He felt it. Creaked on it just the last.
Oh, no doubt about that. They ran pretty slick sections. Once you see the sectional times, we're ecstatic with his run. And of course, we think with 53.5, he'll get a strong 2 miles. So
bring it on.
We're throwing everything at him in the Cox Plate, and looking forward to a heavyweight bout.
Cups coming up, and also for the Cox Plate, but plenty of good runs. Bolichi stuck on well.
He did. I don't like the way he wanted to jack up going to the barriers, though. Look, it's great to see that some Australian trained horses have got. We're still alive for these cups coming up, with all these imported horses coming in. Green Moon was great. Seville was sensational. He is a live Caulfield Cup chance, even though he was big odds yesterday. I'm saying that was no fluke, that run. He's a good horse. I think we may have seen next year's Cup winner here. Ethiopia, is he underrated? I know he's a Derby winner, but I just had him down as a plugger. But he's a serious horse, this Ethiopia. He's only had a couple of runs back. He's charging through the middle here. I think Pat Carey was sort of saying we might concentrate on next year's Cups, not this year's Cups. So I'll leave that to him. But he seems to have come back very, very well. There was 2 disturbing runs in the race. Obviously, Southern Speed was pretty ordinary, and Murderer didn't run up to his first up run whatsoever.
It's not in the race at all.
No.
For some reason, there might be. I want to ask Andrew, is there something wrong with him? Because he just stayed at the back of the field the entire journey, but you just cannot go past Green Moon out of that race. He's travelled.
I can go past the second. I can't go past the second.
For me, Green Moon's travelled 3 deep outside the speed. I mean, that is so hard to do on that bend at Flemington. And he's just sat there, and I thought, oh, you've got a puncture. And he just kept finding the line. That was a brilliant win.
Run till the Melbourne Cup. Red Cadeau's in quarantine. Americane runs in the Caulfield Cup in a couple of weeks' time. December draw, and Dunedin is also expected to run in both the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups. The other story that came out of the Melbourne Cup, Red Cadeau's in quarantine. Americane runs in the Caulfield Cup in a couple of weeks' time. December draw, and Dunedin is also expected to run in both the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups. The other story that came out of the